So I guess we can start by talking about Gucci because that was a big show. Um, and of course, Alessandra Mckellar always blurring the lines between gender and what gender is in fashion. Of course, it's the women's wear season, but he showed mainly men's wear, looks, which was interesting. And is this idea of androgyny that, to be honest, I saw a lot of articles that were saying that, oh, Alessandra Mckellar is like changing gender norms and all that stuff. But he's been doing that from the beginning of when he was at Gucci. It's not like something new with this collection. It's not far fetched that he's going to show men's looks on a women's wear season. But also, apart from that, I don't think it's that provocative to put women in menswear. I'm so sorry, not sorry. But when you put women in menswear, it's so normal. Like no one is going to look at a woman wearing a men's suit and think anything crazy. But if you put like a man in a dress or in a skirt, that's way more provocative. So I'm not that impressed when people put women in menswear because it's just like that happens anyway. Like women can wear menswear and nothing's going to happen. Like no one cares. So it's not really that crazy to me. Um, but yeah. But anyway, going further into the Gucci collection. There was obviously the Adidas collaboration, which we'll get into. I should actually probably put the collection on the screen so we can watch it as I'm talking. Yeah, so now we can watch it as I'm talking. But yeah, so there was the Adidas collection. But what I really loved about the Adidas collection is because there have been so many pointless collections in fashion recently, especially with sportswear brands. If you think Prada and Adidas, that was horrific. It was literally just a superstar with leather, like real leather instead of like fake leather. Terrible, terrible, like no difference. Pointless collab. And a lot of people just had really, really pointless collabs. Whereas I think the Gucci and Adidas collab works for many different reasons. First of all, Gucci has, as part of its brand DNA, the like two stripes, the red and green stripes, and then Adidas has like three white stripes. So there's that similarity. Then on top of that, Gucci sort of embedded Adidas into what you'd consider Gucci. So like the normal Gucci suits with the Gucci print, they just put three stripes on the side, or there you can see like boots with three stripes. It gave a much better offering than I've seen from recent sportswear collabs, like tailored trousers with three stripes, the hat, berets, like so much more range than I've seen from a lot of recent collaborations with sportswear brands. Um, Even things like gloves, like even the men's boots as well. So I was a big fan of the Adidas collaboration. I don't know how you guys feel. Comment in the chat how you felt about the collaboration. And I know he said in an interview that he was trying to sort of break the codes of sportswear, which, to be fair, is something very generic. Like a lot of designers say that, and it doesn't really mean anything, to be honest. Um, but yeah, let me see what people are saying. I've never heard of Blumarine before, but it was amazing. What's their history and identity? I'll talk about it later. So that should be good. I'll see if I can talk about that later. Also, as always, if you want to share your thoughts about what I'm talking about, I always put the link in the chat. So if you're brave enough to join, then that's the link. That I'm warming up to the collab. Yeah, it's not like it's exceptional, but it was just a lot better than a lot of collabs I've seen recently. So I was like, fair enough. Alessandra Mckellar actually put some effort. Well, Alessandra Mckellar and his team, of course, because we're not going to give him that much credit. It's not like he single-handedly designed the whole thing. But yeah, I really liked it. Not knowledgeable on Gucci, but I think the color palette for the collection was very distinctly them. I mean, Gucci doesn't necessarily have like an identity. Like Gucci historically is a luggage brand started by Gucci or Gucci. And so it's not really like when Tom Ford was started with the ready to wear, his vision of Tom Ford was different to like every other designer, like Frida Giannini and now Alessandra Mckellar. Like they all have different visions. There's not like a distinctive Gucci look. There's just a distinctive Gucci look based on the creative director that's there. And so with Alessandra Mckellar, it's very androgynous, um, very maximalist, very colorful. He likes very flowy tailoring, um, very boxy tailoring, actually. So yeah, it just really depends on the creative director that's there. What a star-studded show! Yeah, I mean, who turned up? Wasn't it Rihanna turned up and she was like, well, obviously she is heavily pregnant. And there are so many celebrities there, but I think that's just the case for like most of these big shows anyway. They're always star-studded. The Adidas Gucci corsets were one of the best parts of the collection. Yeah, I agree. I agree. The Gucci X Adidas was defiantly best in Prada. However, I felt it's similarly commercial to Gucciaga. Yeah, yeah, it's definitely really commercial, but I think it's even better than Gucciaga because the Gucciaga, or what do they call it, the hack. The problem with it was just a Balenciaga silhouette with a Gucci print, or a Gucci print, or a Gucci silhouette with a Balenciaga print, which once again, you're not really bringing anything new to the table. It's different. Like Adidas berets, like they're not really, Adidas don't go around selling berets, do they? So you're kind of bringing something new to the table. That's not the case with the Gucci and Balenciaga collab. It was just things that already exist and rehashing them with the prints and the colors. So the Gucci hack was kind of boring in terms of like actual design, but in terms of like what it was for a fashion moment, I guess it was big and a lot of people liked it. Also, I think I'm not sure if I remember to mention this, but with the set, when you look at the set, there are like all these mirrors on the side. And in a lot of interviews, Alessandro Michele said himself that it was kind of like this idea that the clothing we wear can distort like how we feel about ourselves and how we view ourselves. Which is quite interesting because obviously you have so many vastly different looks on the runway that can make you feel all different personalities. So I thought that was a good touch. I'm rocking my croc boots right now. The collab makes sense and it wasn't shocking at all for me, but I'm sorry, I'm kind of bored about Logomania mogul fashion. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of bored about Logomania too, but it's just good to note that it is a decent collaboration. Like looking at this Gucci and Adidas collaboration, if I had loads of money, there's definitely stuff that I would get. Me now as a student, probably not, but if I had like money, there's stuff I would get. And considering a lot of fashion is just overly commercial and quite boring, I think that's a good sign. What do you think about Francis Bourgeois becoming a fashion influencer? I'm guessing that's the guy, the train spotting guy, isn't it? The guy who spots trains. I think he worked with Gucci, didn't he, in a campaign or something like that. So I think he's kind of slowly becoming integrated into fashion. You know, fashion, they love milking anyone that's like relevant in any way, and he's like really relevant right now. So it's just how fashion goes. Yeah, but do you know something that really intrigued me about this collection and the whole Adidas collaboration? Yeah, these are the Adidas corsets that people are talking about. What it reminds me of is Dapper Dan, like this very streetwear, sports luxe way of mixing tailoring and sportswear is very Dapper Dan. And I can't help but notice that, you know, they were chasing Dapper Dan because he was illegally using their prints, which is fair enough. But then you can't now turn around and then like steal his designs and steal his sensibility and the way he thinks and the way he designs. I don't know, it's just in bad taste. I know obviously they work with him now, but I feel like it's not genuine because the way they work with him, like this look, oh my god, look at this look. This looks like pure Dapper Dan. Like look at this. I'm just gonna pause it. Tell me that is not Dapper Dan. Like you cannot tell me that that look is not Dapper Dan. You cannot tell me that that's not Dapper Dan. And I don't know, it's just in bad taste. Even if, you know, they did it like I was saying, it's because they put pressure on Gucci that they, you know, were like, oh yeah, let's have Dapper Dan as part of the brand. I don't know, it's just It's just the first thing that came to my mind when I saw it. I even think talking about the Adidas collab some more. There were some really interesting looks. Like there was a whole Adidas gown. Like I think it was like made out of satin and made with satin, which was quite interesting. Yeah, I definitely agree. Dapper Dan doesn't get enough credit. They hired him as a consultant. I don't. I really question how much input Dapper Dan actually has into the designs. Yeah, I question it. I just think it was just a move just to, keep the peace. Yeah, that's the satin gown I was talking about, by the way. That is really interesting. For a collab with a sportswear brand, you don't see stuff like that. Like looks like this. I really like that. As a collab with Adidas, I really like that. Because also I feel like the stripes kind of work for the gown. Exactly. They're only bringing him in because a lot of people are calling them out. I agree. I hate the word consultant. Who is this guy spamming the chat? Lord Roller. I'm just gonna have to put him in the timeout quickly. There was also a look. I can't remember what look it was. Maybe we'll see it at some point. But there was a look that referenced a Madonna piece that she wore in, I think it was 1993. It was like that Adidas, the red Adidas dress, that was originally designed by a designer. She had sort of a brand where she used to like take a lot of licensing logos and put them on her own design. So it's not like an Adidas official dress, but it was something that was designed for Madonna in the 90s. I think, yeah, I'm checking my notes now. Her name's Laura Whitcomb. And she made that dress for Madonna in 1993. Do you see any evolution in Alessandro's designs at Gucci? Not really, to be honest. I think his aesthetic has kind of sort of been the same. Not exactly the same, but sort of been the same. It's just like a very similar design language. And he just switches it slightly, maybe in terms of colors or in terms of the cut um, for things. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. Um, he designs for celebs, Grammy Award shows, ET show, casting for events. Cool. Dapper Dan got arrested. I didn't even. The thing about the Dapper Dan issue is that what he was doing was illegal, regardless of how you feel about it. It was still illegal. So what is just in bad taste is like, because I know how fashion is. Like when Dapper Dan was doing it, they were calling it tacky. Like if you watch like a lot of Dapper Dan documentaries and the ones he's in, like they were bashing his designs and calling it like ghetto fashion and all that sort of stuff. So it's not the fact that he got arrested for something that was technically a crime. That's not too much of an issue. I think the bigger issue is how the sort of racist undertones in how they viewed his designs only to copy it later. It says a lot about fashion. It says so much about fashion. I know anything that's part of the Gucci, but the flashing lights, blackouts, red lights, etc. distract from the clothes. Yeah, I can agree. I can agree. I can agree. Someone said it was literally just racism. Yeah, which is why I said like the clear racist undertones for me was just more what was in bad taste, more so than the trouble he got into. Because at the end of the day, I'm still on the side of if you break the law, you can't complain that people come at you for doing something that's illegal. But it's the other things around it that I have an issue with. But someone made something similar for Madonna and faced no legal issues. Yeah, so that's what I was talking about. The piece that was made from Madonna. But from my understanding, first of all, um, she used to license some things. Laura Whitcomb, she used to license some things. And then secondly, just because someone gets arrested for committing a crime and someone else doesn't mean that the crime is still like okay, if you get what I mean. Like two wrongs don't make a right. Um, But I get the point you're trying to make. It's still the racist undertones, which is what I mentioned. I wonder what the appeal of Gucci is. I get the hype with Chanel and LV, but Gucci. I think Gucci has a lot of appeal because I think Gucci makes like interesting clothing more so than LV and Chanel. Especially with Virginie Viard at Chanel right now, I can't stand it. Ever since Karl Lagerfeld was no longer at Chanel, I just cannot stand it. Like I really can't get behind it. Scamming fashion has become a trend nowadays. Yeah, yeah. Someone said Chanel has not been doing anything interesting recent times. I 100% agree. Like wholeheartedly agree. Also, I forgot to tell you guys because now there's more people in the chat. If you want to join in before I move on to the next show and give your thoughts on the Gucci chat, if you are, brave enough, then definitely hop onto the live stream and share your thoughts. Because I like when I do these reviews, I like to hear different people's opinions. Chanel's looking bad right now. I'm not a fan, but it's just taste, matter of opinion. Yeah, I agree. I agree, but I also just feel like Virginie doesn't really have a direction in which she's going. Her collections just tend to be really, really random. No, we haven't talked about Marnie yet. We haven't talked about Marnie. Chanel is robbing the girls. If I have enough time, then I can look at Loewe. The only thing I like from Chanel is eyewear. I think what most people buy at Chanel, apart from like, there's obviously like the billionaire wife customer who buy everything, but I feel like most people just buy the bags, like the really classic bags, because one, they retain their value. Two, they're really well made, like high quality, and they're just classic, so you can't really go wrong with a classic. So yeah, I think most people just buy the bags, to be honest. What are your thoughts on the collaboration with Adidas? I literally just talked about it like for the past 10, 15 minutes. Gucci's universe building an ability to bring the Gucci brand to life again is fabulous. Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's way more interesting than Chanel and LV, like way more. Gucci stuff are just overpriced for what they are. Yeah, I agree. And also, like when I think of brands that what they make is actually made with like really high quality. Gucci is not a brand that comes to mind. Like I don't feel a Gucci jacket and I'm like, oh my God, this is made so well. Gucci is not one of those brands. So yeah, considering the way things are constructed and then they charge you like an arm and a leg, literally, is a bit crazy. Chanel still has that Chanel look. I don't think so. I think Chanel still has the fabrics. It still has a lot of tweed. You still have the tweed suits and stuff, but I don't think it's as chic as when Karl Lagerfeld did it. But there's definitely a customer base for it. Trust me. Like there are really, really rich women who buy like things by look every season, like spend tens of thousands. So yeah. It's so funny how we just turned this into like a Chanel conversation. Just got here. I think this collaboration will reach a bigger demographic rather than the hacker one thoughts. Yeah, that's kind of what we said the whole time, to be honest. The quality of the Chanel bags is deteriorating as they're not even handmade and their recent price hikes have been unjustified. Yeah, the price hikes, that's more a case of just we can do it because we're Chanel and we don't care sort of thing. But yeah, it is what it is. Thoughts on Trussardi? Oh, I'm gonna talk about this because it was a big moment, of course. So don't worry. So let's see. What should we talk about next? What should we talk about next? Let's talk about Bottega because Bottega was definitely like a big moment as far as like fashion week goes. Let me just put the collection on the screen before I start talking about it. So yeah, so this was Matthew Blazy's first like complete his collection, his vision, full debut since the departure of Daniel Lee at Bottega in terms of a runway show. And it was quite interesting. The collection was definitely commercial, which doesn't surprise me because Bottega is kind of like a commercial brand. But for guys who don't know who Matthew Blazy is, because I can imagine a few people might not, he's worked so many places. He worked at Balenciaga. He's worked for Ras Simmons at Ras Simmons, and he also worked with Ras Simmons when Ras Simmons was at Calvin Klein. He's worked at Martin Margiela, like Maison Martin Margiela. He worked at Celine when Phoebe Philo was there. And of course, more recently, he was head of design under Daniel Lee, and then recently got promoted to creative director at Bottega. He's also actually partners with the creative director of Alaya, who's Peter Mullier, which is also interesting because Peter Mullier also worked under Ras Simmons at Calvin Klein. So that's how they sort of all met each other. It's this like Belgian dream team sort of thing going on. But yeah, I think it was an interesting start at Bottega for him because he has to sort of Bottega has had such a successful time under Daniel Lee, and I feel like it's a really hard task to sort of be like, okay, this is now my vision, and to get people on board. You know, when Daniel Lee has had so much success, it's so hard topping that. And I think this collection was a good sign in terms of sort of cleaning the slate and starting afresh, but also still having a bit of elements from Daniel Lee, and then also looking into the archives like even further as far as Bottega Veneta is concerned. So let me just try and skip to where the runway actually started, not just people jutting around and having a nice little fashion chat. But anyway, what did you guys think about the collection while we're waiting for the runway show to actually start? This collection cleaned the Daniel Lee slate. I agree. What happened to Daniel Lee? That's a whole different story in and of itself. So yeah, that's a whole separate thing. I find it interesting that this runway show started with a vest, like literally a vest with like some padding. And I read somewhere that a lot of the looks that look like denim were not actually denim. It was sort of like a print. So it's like trompe l'oeil. It's like those optical illusion type of things. And there were a lot of optical illusion effects throughout this collection. I guess he's laughing at me talking about Daniel Lee. Yeah, that was really controversial. We also saw very interesting uses of the intrecciato thing with Bottega, of course, like the signature and woven sort of technique that Bottega uses. We saw those in like clutch bags. I saw those in like some footwear. There were like bucket bags as well that were quite interesting. And why I like to look at that is because for Bottega, at least, the accessories is like super, super important. Like really, really important. Someone said I liked how you use Bottega's and Intrecciato weave within the garments such as skirts. Yeah, I agree. I literally just started talking about it, but yeah, the shoe offerings. Other than that, I miss Daniel Lee. I think we have to give him time though, because it is just the first collection. And like I said, it was super commercial, definitely. That can't be refuted. But I just like the whole cleaning of the slate and something new. Like those boots right there, those are like Intrecciato woven boots. The collection was a cinematic experience from the music to the model's attitude to the clothing. Sweaters, tank tops, denim, and button-down shirts done in leather showcase of Bottega Veneta leather mastery. Yeah. Yeah. My friend pointed out to me that there was a lot of leather used in this collection. Yeah, there was. There was. I think we talked about that earlier. One of the bags is mine. Someone said the casting was great. I agree. I love the shoe and product design. I was a bit bored, especially considering all of the lead up to this collection. Yeah, I mean, oh, let me just pause here, by the way, because those furry pumps were a big talking point of the collection because that's sort of one of the new Matthew Blazy sort of introductions into the Bottega Veneta lineup. How well do you think people are actually going to take to those, like in terms of like buying it and stuff? Also, something I do want to point out about this collection in terms of the clothes is Bottega and Matthew Blazy was using this a lot, but the shape of the jackets was amazing. Like when you look at it from the side, they have this sort of C shape, and I just love the silhouette of the tailoring. It's so good. It's so good. He said the furry pumps reminded me of Phoebe Celine. Yeah. Will they be back on Instagram? I don't know. I'm not in the Bottega team, so I don't know. Someone said I really like those C-shaped coats. Yeah, that's something that I really love. The C-shaped coats are just like, I love the way they look, especially from the side. Oh my gosh. These shoes, if they caught up, would be very time like Miu Miu's crop set before they became yesterday. Yeah. What did we think of the skirt? That was a big thing that was all over the Instagram pages. But something I read, I think it was in Women's Wear Daily, in an interview with Women's Wear Daily, he was talking about how when he was looking back at the history of Bottega Veneta, because it's a leather goods company historically, and it specializes in bags, which is all about like carrying things, going somewhere, movement, that sort of idea. He wanted to bring an idea in the collection of movement, hence why there were a lot of pieces that moved, like the skirts, a lot of the jackets were moving, or there were wide trousers that flowed really nicely in the collection. That was sort of the idea behind it. Yeah, I love the hemline of the skirt. Yeah, so I guess people did take to his idea where he wanted to show and accentuate movement. Like if you look at a lot of the pieces, like even that shirt dress, for example, yeah, who's really going to hold the bag like that? That's what runway shows are for, though. It's presenting it in a very creative way. Like I remember when I was younger and I first got into fashion, and I used to look at Comme des Garçons mainline collections, and they made no sense when I first got into fashion. I was like, who the hell is going to wear that? And then I met people that actually wear Comme des Garçons mainline, and I was like, all the stuff you're wearing looks so good. I never see that on the runway. And then they started to show me these things are on the runway. They're just presented in a very abstract way. So you wouldn't realize that this weird thing that's like strapped to a girl's arm is actually a skirt, but it's just the way it's presented. Imagine the prices of those woven leather sweaters. Yeah. Bottega already is expensive as hell. So that's a whole different conversation entirely. I would love to see that skirt in black. Love the skirt. I wonder if he was kind of nodding to his time at Calvin Klein. The bags were Margiela like too. Maybe a brief history of his design journey. Yeah, I can definitely see that. I can definitely see that. I would have loved if more attention was on the menswear for this collection. Yeah, so that's actually, it's good you brought that up because that's a big talking point because when Daniel Lee was at Bottega, a lot of people were really, really asking for menswear looks because it was just mainly women's wear outside of like the footwear and some accessories. And so Matthew Blazy has incorporated a few menswear looks, and I'm sure we'll see more of that. I know behind the scenes, I probably shouldn't be saying this, but insider knowledge, they are actually working on like bringing in a dedicated like menswear team to Bottega. So that should be interesting to see in the future. But don't tell anyone I told you that because it's kind of classified information that I'm saying. And no, I'm joking. It's not classified. Someone that works for Bottega just told me that. But yeah. And the person that I know that works at Bottega is like high up, but I won't tell you who it is. The potential price of these leather pieces is also giving me anxiety. I'm not even Bottega's target audience. See, for me, I just appreciate all these things from a distance because, like, I'm a student. There's no way in heaven I'll be able to afford Bottega. But it's just nice to sort of see the ideas behind Matthew Blazy, sort of where he's taking the brand, the new direction for Bottega. It's just all interesting to me, to be honest. Also, I'll post the link in the chat again if anyone wants to share their thoughts on the Gucci collection that I talked about earlier, or about this Bottega Veneta collection. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Everyone in the chat is a really nice person. Women and sometimes men often design menswear like they design for women's wear. Well, the reason for that is because women can wear menswear. You can like integrate menswear into women's wear quite easily, but it doesn't work that way the other way around, like in terms of like markets and stuff. Ask me about Tremaine Emery becoming Supreme Creative Director. That's a whole separate, like, I can make a whole video on that, to be honest. All of us here can't, but look at us discussing it. Yeah. Which is why it's so important that these brands actually, you know, think of a younger audience. Because I'd like to think 10 years from now, I won't be like as broke as I am now. And I'll actually be able to like afford a few things if I saved up for it. So like I could potentially become the Bottega customer in like 5 to 7 years. Not so much now, but that's why they also have to think of how we're gonna engage a younger audience who could then become potential customers. Because we're all looking at these runway shows, and these are all influencing our ideas of what brands we like. So to the point where when we can, most of us can maybe afford it one day, all these sort of ideas of how the collections have played out over the years will inform our opinions on what we want to actually buy. Bottega's just really good at colors, yeah. I mean, Jesus, like Bottega and green is like a synonymous thing now, but I'm sure Matthew Blazy wants to maybe get rid of that because it's so associated with Daniel Lee at this point. And if he wants to, you know, trailblaze his own vision of Bottega, using too many Daniel Lee cues isn't how to do that. Hey.
How you doing?
I'm good. What's up?
None much, just looking at the live here, and I figured I'd just, you know, throw in my little 2 cents, whatever I got, you know.
Yeah, everyone's opinion is welcome. What do you think about this show or the Gucci show?
I didn't watch the Gucci show in full yet, but I mean, it's more or less the same from Alessandro. I guess the Adidas collab is really the only talking point that I have from that collection, but I'm interested in the price point and you know, the Adidas Gucci.
Right.
It's definitely not for me, but I'm interested what the prices are going to be for it.
Yeah, that's a good point because the price is going to go up. It's just how high, because it's Gucci and Adidas. And also I think it depends on the fabrics that they use. Because if the fabrics are really luxe, they can just throw the price up like by an
Yeah, they look
amount.
like high quality. Because I was wondering, is it going to be a Gucci in the Adidas store or Adidas in the Gucci store? But it's looking like Adidas in the Gucci store.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the price point's definitely. This Bottega show, what I was talking about with the strap, I don't understand the way that they're holding the bag. It doesn't look like it's connected to anything else. Like, so how when they produce those bags, how are people going to really be holding those bags?
I do think that I did think they are connected. I think from that angle, it didn't look like it was.
Let's see, I'm trying to see them now.
Yeah, I'm trying to have a look.
But this show is, I mean, like I said, the anticipation and everything leading up to it. I just expected something completely different than what we got.
What were you expecting? Because for me, I think why I wasn't surprised is because just in general, Bottega is always going to be commercial. Right. It's not the type of brand that's going to give you like really out there, outlandish, like artsy, like John Galliano sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. I feel like if Bottega did that, everyone would be in like shock. People would be like, "What the hell?"
Right. I was just expecting like some Hedy Slimane kind of change, you know. That's what I
Yeah.
was expecting, but it is like you said, it's Bottega, so
And I guess when you think about it, because Matthew Blasey was like head designer under Daniel Lee, a lot of the ideas that Daniel Lee probably had were coming from him anyway.
right.
So that's another thing to consider as well. So like a lot of things that we considered just Daniel Lee, a lot of it could have been like Matthew Blasey as well.
Right. Yeah, that's very true. And you can tell some of the things that carried over in this
Yeah.
collection. Even the use of the intertrack with the bags, it's kind of like we kind of saw that before in previous collections, but I
Yeah.
guess it's just the volume of the clutches and the pouch bags and things that were different. But
Yeah.
it was a decent first collection for him.
Yeah. The famous bow from Matthew. Yeah, in general, before I move to the next shows, what were your favorite shows in general, like from Milan or just in Fashion Week that you've seen?
I was pleasantly surprised at Prada this season. I
Interesting.
really surprised at because I was tired of Raf there. I just tired of his influence. I'm tired of his influence on the brand. Honestly, it's taking the Miuccia out of it, and I'm at the point now where I feel like she's in the latest half of or the late half of her career now. She's kind of
Right.
exiting, and I kind of wish we still had her singular voice as she's leaving. Now it's kind of muddled with Raf's but this was probably their best not that this was anything spectacular, but as far as the collections they've shown together, this collection was the best to me.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's interesting. I think because it was also very similar to the menswear collection, which they always do like every season together, like there are always similarities. So it was also there are things that I was expecting already. And then on top of that, I like it because, like you said, mutual sensibility came a bit through more in this collection. The menswear collection, oh my God, that looked like Raf, 100%. It literally looked like Raf Simons. Like, I almost forgot it was a Prada collection until, like, I saw Mucha come out at the end and, like, Mucha was talking to people. I was like, oh, yeah, damn, it's a Prada collection because it looks so Raf.
Yeah, even the silhouettes just from the coat silhouettes were very rough. But it's interesting some of the ideas that didn't work in the men's show, like with the fur and the arms. They kind of worked in the women's show a little bit.
Yeah. And they remind me of, they look like exact, let me check Vogue Runway to get what season it was. I think it was like fall, winter, and spring, summer 18, but I'm going to cross check. Because I know Prada basically did the same thing, like with the fur sleeves. But I think in this one, it was like mohair.
That was spring 17.
Was it spring 17? There we go. And I know the fall, winter show, they did it again as well. So that's something we've seen from Prada anyway. So it's not like something new. I know they tried to. I was reading the show notes and they were saying like the recontextualizing tailoring. I was like, kind of done that already.
Right. Yeah, but it was pretty successful.
Was refreshing. Yeah, I liked Versace actually. I must say. We'll probably get to that later, but yeah, I did.
Versace.
Versace. Yeah.
I didn't like the Versace collection.
You didn't?
No, I guess I'm like a Versace purist in a way because I know Versace for the sex, the little to nothing, even in fall collections, the little to nothing.
But didn't you think it kind of had that sexiness, with the bustiers and all the corsetry and all that sort of stuff, but playing with tailoring?
That didn't feel like Versace to me. It felt like a different brand. It just didn't feel like. And I guess that's the general consensus everybody's saying too about this collection. It just didn't feel like Versace.
Yeah. I think that the idea of sexiness is there. I think it's just the way it's done because this looked more like a sort of finding sexy ways to cover up almost. Because it wasn't like a lot of the looks weren't super showing skin, especially with all the tailoring. But what it was doing was sort of adding ideas of what like people consider sexy, like lingerie, like bustiers, and then putting that on a tailored coat and things like that. But yeah, if you think of historically, yeah, Versace is all about sexiness, even from Gianni himself and all that sort of stuff.
Even when Donatello, was there, I feel like Versace, they must have had a creative change in the past 3 or 4 years, because it's
Yeah.
completely different than it was. And even like, the 2010s, Versace I think it was around like 2016, 17, where it just completely kind of just did started to do something else.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they when all that hype was about Riccardo Tisci coming to the brand, or possibly Christopher Kane, they were looking for somebody else, and I guess whoever they got was just a no name that's changing everything.
Yeah. Someone said, I guess Versace is no longer the mistress. Yeah, but I did like it, because I think maybe it's because runway shows are back. I don't know, but I did get a sense that there was a lot of interest this season compared to like past seasons. Maybe it's the pandemic. I don't know. But do you know what did fascinate me? Is I remember when the pandemic started and everyone was talking about like slowing down, and everyone was like, we're not going to be on the calendar. I remember Alessandra Mckellar was like, yeah, I'm going to be off the calendar. And then this season he's back on the calendar.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so it just seemed like a bit of hypocrisy. I was watching the shows. I was like, wait, aren't these all the same designers that said they're going to slow down and stuff? And now we're back to normal.
Right. It's business as usual. They got to make the money. As much as we want everybody to, kind of change with the time and make sense for it,
Yeah.
They still need to have the relevancy. They still need to have the press, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think it's just funny that because it's what I expected. I expected it to go back to normal. I remember at the time when people were asking me, do you think this will last? I was like, no. But it's just funny that they make all these statements that like they never actually go through with.
Right. It's always fleeting.
Yeah. Which is quite sad. But I guess now we can talk about the Prada collection some more. I saw earlier that someone was saying they didn't like the vest. It seems like a lot of people had vests this season. What's going on with that? Like Bottega, Prada.
The vest at Prada, I don't remember the vest at Prada.
Oh yeah, Prada had a vest. I think it was even one of the first looks actually. Let me see if I can put the collection on the screen.
The things.
Yeah, so it was the first look. There we go. So that's the vest. Is it that everyone's trying to push people to wear sleeveless vests? Like it's not even summer yet. Someone said exactly, they're preaching about slow fashion sustainability, yet they make large collections, which most would be sold on outlet stores like Net-a-Porter. Yeah, such is fashion. Fashion is a walking hypocrisy.
I always wondered who gives out the design notes every season to every designer, because there's always trends that pop up everywhere, and it's like there is no way that all of these brands from international destinations know to do orange or events. Like how does that happen?
Yeah, I know historically, for example, Vogue. I don't know if that still happens now, but I've read books where they talk about how Vogue used to set the tone for what the trends were. So, like, for example, Vogue would just like call in all the designers of big brands and be like, okay, this season, the narrative we want to push is like red dresses.
Mm-hmm.
Like, red dresses are in. Because Vogue was like seen back then as like the tastemaker. So, once Vogue predict that red dresses are a thing, and then everyone does it after, it makes Vogue look like, oh my God, these people know what they're talking about and stuff. But it's all like a game.
Yeah. So it's still Anna Wintour. She's still in control.
Yeah. So that's how it go. That's how it used to go then. I can't say if that's how it goes now, but that's definitely how it was.
How did you feel about the silhouette of these? Because I thought it was a bit Balenciaga.
Yeah, I did. And then a lot of people talked about like the necklace as well with the triangular emblem to the sides. I don't like it personally. I just think it looks a bit odd, but that's just personal taste.
And out of place with this collection.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe there's a story there with those looks, but they didn't even seem in place with the rest of the looks.
Yeah, someone said they all read from the same transcript. Yeah, there's also the WGSN thing. which for guys that don't know what WGSN is, it's like a platform for trend forecasting that a lot of fashion designers and just people that work in fashion use to sort of see like what colors are going to be used and all that sort of stuff. But WGSN, like historically, is so iconic. Like even what we know as Vogue Runway now, like all the runway looks being posted online, like WGSN was the first to do that. Before Vogue Runway sort of took the idea essentially and then did it. Before, to look at runway looks, you had to like buy catalogs and stuff, which is that's crazy. I can't imagine like trying to cover fashion back then. You said we had WGSN in design school. We got it for free. Yeah, you'll probably have it in school. Most schools use it. And I read in an interview, what did Mitra Prada say? She said something about like the collection being about like the history of just like people and women and not necessarily being sort of a fashion collection, which is why there were so many classic wardrobe pieces like vest, sweatshirts, bomber jackets, aviator jackets, leather jackets, plain dresses. But then she said that she tried to sort of, you know, change everything slightly. And so some might have like sheer fabrics like this, for example, you have like embellishments on what's supposed to be sort of like a bomber jacket. So it's just taking very classic silhouettes and transforming it slightly, which I think Mucha has always done, sometimes with the print, sometimes with different things. And then also the footwear, I did really like the footwear.
I don't know. I think she might, what you just said about what Mucha just said about the show, she may be a victim of what you talked about in a previous video with coming up with the background of the show after the fact.
Yeah.
Because
I get that sense from Prada. So I posted a video on Patreon. I was reviewing the Menswear show, and I was really talking about like what's in the show notes versus what I was seeing on the runway. Like a lot of the ideas I was seeing on the runway, it did not add up to what I was reading in the show notes. Like I was really critiquing it because it didn't make sense. And because I know that happens, like I've been talking about it for so long, because I know a lot of people take what designers say at face value. But like I know, especially since I started working in fashion and I would interview designers and they would say it off the record, like blatantly, they'll be like, yeah, actually, to be honest, like the truth is, like I came up with the ideas after the collection. And I was like, I remember the first time someone told me that, and I obviously won't say who it is because I'll get into so much trouble. But the first time, and it was like a big designer, I was like, oh my God, this actually happens. So since then, yeah, I have to.
There's nothing wrong with that, but be honest with us about it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's nothing wrong with coming up with everything. I don't know, but I feel like Prada is a bit too reliant on the archives right now.
Yeah,
they're pulling a lot from the archives.
Even the prints, like that print is something we've seen before.
Yeah, that's from I think like 2012 with the suiting. They just did it in a knit.
Even another, I can see a piece coming too. That's another archive Prada print. Yeah, this one here. This is like one of the main ugly chic prints.
Yeah, that was from the 90s.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I've definitely critiqued Prada for trying to like over-conceptualize. Like I've noticed they just try to do that and it doesn't really add up. Prada is definitely one of those brands that does that. There are other brands that like it makes sense, but definitely not Prada. Let me see what guys are saying in the chat. Someone said Bottega was so boring.
It kind of was. It wasn't bad. It was just kind of boring.
Yeah. Someone said these silhouettes are so tired. Yeah, because they just keep doing the same, using the same ones. That's the issue.
I really like the shoes in this collection.
Yeah, same.
Really good heels.
Yeah, they're like strap pointy heels.
Another good part about this collection is that they pulled a lot of older Prada models back for this collection. So it's another reason to make the collection feel nostalgic, is like old Prada. Yeah.
The one thing that I didn't like, because there were a lot of ideas when I was reading a lot of reviews and interviews that they did after the collection, they were kind of talking about this idea of like making clothing for like the social media like influencer generation, and I was like, why would you do that? Because what influencers wear is the like most basic stuff, so that means you're just gonna like basically strip down Prada to the bare bones,
Right.
which is something I found very interesting. This sort of, what do they call it? Designing for the click generation.
Ugh.
It's like, what does that even mean?
And then even the ones that can afford it, they throw away, you know, they move on with trends anyway. So it's
Exactly.
like, but that's what fashion is now. So it's like, what can we do? It's, you know, I guess the only thing now I have like is just to receive it and hope that it's still good, you know?
Someone said they fell asleep watching Bottega. It wasn't that bad. I did like it because it's with the first collection, you can't, like, for the most part anyway, most people don't just drastically change it unless you're like Eddie Slimane or like one of those guys. So yeah, I'd like to see how it develops, but that's just funny. He said he was falling asleep. I really love Prada going back to the archives. It's refreshing in a nostalgic way. I just didn't like the furry arms coat. Yeah, the mohair coat. The problem with Prada is like they revisit the archives a bit too often to the point where it gets too repetitive.
But I think that just started happening with Raf though.
Well, yeah, even remember the first collection that they did together, they referenced so much of the archives. It was like crazy. The collection had two innovations. The accessories and shoes were good though. For the what you're wearing crew. Oh my days, that's hilarious. But yeah, it seems like a few people liked it, a few people didn't like it. I'm a bit indifferent about it. Especially because like with the men's show, with all the inspirations to Hollywood and stuff, it wasn't adding up. They really did try to over conceptualize it in a way that I think personally didn't make sense.
I feel like the most
Simmons
successful.
collection
Oh,
was
my
better
bad.
than Prada's. No, I was just reading out the comment. What are you going to say?
I think the most successful looks were the mesh, whatever that gray. Those I think those are going to be like the pieces from this collection that you know that carry into social media or whatever.
Yeah.
And I do like the fabric mixing with the skirts as well.
Yeah.
I did like that idea.
Like I get it. Like Prada has always kind of been about uniform dressing, but at the same time, yeah, sometimes it's just like let's just get something a bit new. I'm still just so fascinated by these wife beaters, as people call them, as like vests. I need to actually sit down and think of who else did it, because that's Bottega and Prada now. Who else had vests in their collection? Because if I see it in like two more brands, I know that's an Anna Wintour thing. Anna Wintour definitely was like, okay, guys, this season we're doing sleeveless vests.
I'm looking at the Vogue Runway app right now.
Yeah. Personally, I didn't like. I've seen Prada do better, and they can do better. Yeah, Prada's definitely had better days. That's for sure. That's definitely for sure.
So the thing with Raf is that's still under contract, but how long is that for?
I actually have no idea. So many Prada fans don't like Raf there. It's so funny.
No, I prefer her voice alone.
Yeah. Someone says small streetwear brands have been doing it. I think they clocked on a hype and trend. Are you talking about like sleeveless vests? I guess so. Like even in fashion, I've seen a lot of people in fashion now wear sleeveless vests with like some really high end stuff. So maybe they're, jumping on that. Especially when you think that part of the inspiration for this collection was what did they call it again? the clicks and picks generation.
Sad. And then it's I love Hunter, but this is a stunt casting right here. The Euphoria people have made the rounds this fashion month already.
And I think Prada, their casting is always kind of like that. Like even the menswear show as well. Like when you think of the Hollywood inspirations, and then they had loads of actors, like really famous actors on the runway. I hope it ended here. Next year it's back to her alone. The thing is, what determines if Raf is going to stay there or not is the money.
Right.
So long as it's selling, I don't think they care. And I don't know how. I need to look at the financials because I'm probably sure it sells really well.
Unfortunately, because it's going to be based off money. If
Yeah, always. Someone said this is the end soon. A bit dramatic. I think next we can talk about Trussardi because people have been like shouting at me that I should talk about it.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything from that show, and I've just seen.
Oh, I'll put it on the screen.
Yeah,
definitely a lot of people are talking about it. And I'll kind of give some background.
I need to run to the restroom.
Okay, so just to talk briefly on the Trussardi collection. Should I talk about designers or should I talk? Okay, the brand is a brand that was started in 1911 by Dante Trussardi, and it's historically a leather glove manufacturer. And then over the years, it's sort of expanded. It's kind of similar to most brands that it's like leather gloves or luggage. Then it expanded into, luxury accessories and leather goods and ready-to-wear clothing. But the big talking point and why everyone is talking about it now is in 2019, a private equity company called Quattro actually acquired a majority stake of the house. And they kind of want to change the look of the brand. They want to revamp it because not too many people know about the brand, like in the public sphere. And they hired the creative directors that started GmbH, which of course is a brand that has been making noise over the past few years since it started in 2016. And so this was, of course, their debut collection as creative directors of Trussardi, which is why everyone's talking about it. Just for some background as to why it's such a big talking point. But yeah, to talk about the inspirations in this collection, it was definitely dark, a lot of blacks, but a big talking point also was the designers were talking about their personal heritage, and there were a lot of looks that did take inspiration points from the personal heritage of the designers. And I don't want to butcher their names, but I know Serhat, I think his name is from Turkey. And so there was Turkish inspiration in a lot of the looks. But I want to know what do people think about it? Someone said it's very GmbH. I mean, when you get the designers of GmbH, it's definitely going to be that. He said it felt very Berlin. I mean, that's what GmbH is. GmbH is basically yes, it's a brand, but it's also like a collective, like a Berlin-based collective. So yeah. Yesterday's price is not today's price. For my taste, too similar to GmbH, although they tried to find a way to make it look Trussardi. I mean, the thing about Trussardi is that ever since they've been making ready-to-wear, I don't think they have a brand identity anyway. So yes, it can be known for denim, but it's also known as much for denim as it is for leather goods, which isn't really that much. And so any designer that's there can definitely create sort of a new look for what it is. I just don't think that's happened. So I don't think like people can be like, oh, this doesn't look Trussardi, because I don't think the brand actually has its own look yet, like distinctive look.
It's looking like Rick Owens a little bit. Just a little bit.
You think so?
Just
I don't think
slightly.
so. Maybe it's all the blacks.
Yeah, it's that's what it is. It's a little bit. Just slightly.
Yeah.
But these Milanese brands that are getting new people to try to save their brands now. I don't know. It's all they do is like follow trends. It's never exciting in Milan when they do that.
Yeah.
Is they just get somebody to follow trend, just trend forecast, and I don't know. I'm not excited by these clothes.
And a lot of brands tend to end up making a lot of the same stuff because of the trend forecasting, which is why I don't like it. Because everyone tends to go in the same direction. Yeah,
Milan is a big victim of that.
Yeah, I don't know. This collection, it just gave me like someone said earlier, like Matrix vibes. Like very like sort of dystopian Matrix, dark, black. Like that was the vibe that the collection gave me. But honestly, to be honest, like someone said it was Berlin vibe. I think why people say it's so Berlin is because GmbH, because it's such a Berlin brand, but GmbH is very inspired by what is actually being like what people wear on the street and sort of like elevating it into sort of a high fashion sphere. And so that's kind of what they've done in this collection. They've taken like things that are common in like streetwear, street style, and just like changed it a bit, added a few different details, widened the sleeve, cinched the waist. But once again, I don't like to judge people too much on like debut collections because you have to see how the brand sort of develops when they're there.
Right now, it's just throwing clothes at us. It's not really, a lot of ideas to me. It's just clothes.
Someone said I see similar stuff all the time here in Berlin. Yeah, because the inspiration is literally from what people wearing day to day on the street. And considering they are like Berlin, they're from Berlin in terms of where they're based, not like ethnicity, but that's why. I'm trying to remember where they're from. I think I know one of them is like from Norway and Pakistan, I think. And then Serhat is like Turkish and might be a bit German too, but I can't remember. Can you talk about the money show and the review? Yeah, I'll talk about money in a bit. Oh, there we go. Serhat from Turkey, Benjamin from Pakistan, and Norway. Yeah. Someone said it looks like Balenciaga. I can see why you would say that.
A little bit too. Yeah.
Yeah. I also read somewhere that in this collection there were references to like Islam in terms of like how, like in France, hijabs were banned, and sort of like a commentary on how it's kind of strange now that everyone is wearing like balaclavas and stuff. But then people who are wearing that for like religious purposes were like banned from dressing like that, which is quite interesting because like Serhat being from Turkey, and of course there's like a huge Muslim community in Turkey. So okay, so he's not German. Okay, so just Turkish. There we go.
So that's why they incorporated the.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I can see what people are saying about it looking a bit like Balenciaga, because Balenciaga had that. I remember that when they have these ideas of like video games and all that sort of like dystopian world sort of thing, those kind of did look similar to some of the stuff I'm seeing here. But yeah, definitely a big moment in Milan, like big debut. I always get fascinated by like how people are going to make brands popular again, kind of like what Daniel Roseberry has done with Schiaparelli.
What this collection does is provide them with a foundation to kind of still do what they want in the
Yeah,
future. It's a good starting point, but it does pull from references that other people have pulled from recently.
yeah. Someone said everything is copying Berlin style. I mean, you can't say they're copying Berlin style because that is what GmbH is, and they made GmbH. Like the whole thing of GmbH is like, okay, what are people wearing in the streets of Berlin? That's not all it is, but a lot of the inspiration point of the brand is like, okay, what are people wearing in Berlin? And then how can we sort of reference that and change it a bit? That is what GmbH has like done quite a lot over the years.
There's a lot of variety in this collection. It's a lot of clothes.
Yeah. Said this shit to not lay down any house codes, in my opinion. Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, once again, I don't judge too much based on like a debut collection because once again, you have to like set the foundation and then you can move forward from that.
Yeah, so we could compare the next one to this one.
Yeah. What did someone say? I'm so bored of Catwalk's brand. We're doing such interesting things. We're promoting fashion and collections during COVID lockdown. Now it's just gone back to boring. I definitely wouldn't say it's boring.
I love Catwalk.
Yeah, I do. I
I love
do.
the presentation of a fashion show.
But I see what they like. People are really experimenting with like methods to show digitally.
Yeah,
But no, I love me a runway. I do
yeah.
love me a runway.
I don't know when we're going to talk about Marnie. I just saw that show earlier, and I feel like they got caught up in the trying to overpresent because the way that show was very confusing to watch.
Yeah. The funny thing is, Money is one of the few shows I haven't seen, but
Mm.
everyone has been talking about it. So I feel like maybe I'll like look at it later on in the live just to see like what they did. What were your thoughts on it? Like before I see it, what do you think?
I enjoyed last collection. So I think last season was my favorite collection of the whole calendar, just because I felt like Rizzo was really he solidified the world that he was building in that collection. I thought the presentation was good, the clothes were really good and covetable. But with this one, it just was a bit of a step back to me. It just was weaker,
Yeah,
and it was just a bit confusing to watch. The show was. Mm-mm.
interesting. Let me see what people say in the chat. Didn't want to watch Money just because of Gun. He said he too corny. I love Gunner because his fashion is just so hilarious. Like
It's hilarious.
it's so funny. It's not even like he can or can't dress. It's more to do with the fact that he is like a self-proclaimed like fashion
He
icon.
tries.
Like
It's
he
like
tries so hard. Like so hard.
yeah.
It's just so funny.
It's the fact that it also became a Halloween. Like Rihanna did it as a Halloween costume. That was
That
the
was funny.
highlight of
That was funny. That was so funny. Literally turned him into a Halloween show. I love Gunner, man. He's a legend. I guess next we can talk about Versace. Because we were talking about it earlier, so we can kind of bring that back up. I know some people liked it. I kind of liked it. I think you said you didn't really like it too much.
no, just too different. Than
Yeah,
the DNA was just weird.
yeah. I think they're just trying to present a different kind of sexiness, like you said. Like here, it's the covering up because Versace, the sexiness, it shows a lot of skin, but here it's like, you see what I mean? It's like trying to
Mhm.
recontextualize what sexiness means when you're covered up. Because you can see what they're trying to do with the corsetry and the bustiers. So Versace is just Versace.
The arm thing was so cringy to watch to me. It like why did like I'm trying to figure out why did they prompt the models to do that? It just seemed like cringy, especially because some of these girls just don't look experienced in a way to carry it off like the way that needs to be carried.
Yeah.
It just came across as a bit weird that most of the girls were doing that. I don't know. I feel like with Versace, like the heritage relied so much on the models, like carrying those clothes that
I agree.
The girls now aren't at that level to meet, you know, where Versace, you know, designs.
Versace basically like I wouldn't say single-handedly launched, but the idea of like supermodels and all that sort of stuff, it really comes from Versace.
Even the part at the end where like they were posing behind the wall, that was a bit cringe to me. I didn't like that. It's like unless you have like Naomi and you know Natasha, all of these stars, Maria Callas doing that, then
Like who's that other model he's associated with? Was Amber Valletta?
Amber Valletta, yeah.
Yeah. Someone said they loved the end moment. So I guess some people didn't like it, some people liked it. I can see someone saying that the collection reminded them of Mugler, because Mugler has definitely, you know, used bustiers on like jackets and stuff. He's played with that a lot, actually.
It honestly reminds you of like new Mugler though, like like Mugler in the past few years.
Someone just said I hate Versace.
I think the most successful thing from this collection, not even because it's good, is because it's clickable. Are the shoes, like the continued shoes from last season, those platforms. Those are that's going to be the thing that's everywhere. Yeah, that looks like Mugler.
Yeah. Even how they slow-mo the shot when they turn.
That's an interesting silhouette for Versace. What was that?
Yeah. So what was it? The Business of Fashion, they have an article on like what LVMH is doing with Off-White and you know how it's going to change. So if anyone wants to know like what's going on with like Off-White and the revamp, check BOF if you can. Versace set designs consistently outshines the clothing. Damn.
Kind of. And even this set was kind of weak.
Yeah. I think what people didn't like I saw was that just the fact that nearly every look was based on some sort of corsetry. For some people I know was a bit boring. I kind of liked it. But then people saying it looks kind of like Mugler, that makes a lot of sense. What do people think about like the really latex footwear and leggings? Though,
How do you put those
most
on?
of the looks. Yeah,
I don't understand how people put those on without help. You gotta have talcum powder or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Also, why does everyone feel like they need to put Gigi Hadid on their runway show? Because I know Gigi like walks in the show. It's just a bit everywhere. It's like damn.
I don't know. The nepotism girls are here to stay. They are here.
They're not going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere. This trend, I guess, is as long as Instagram continues to be a thing, then why not? They're gonna use them.
Yeah. So they love Gigi. She's not the only model. Yeah, but like sometimes there's seasons where like Gigi is literally in every single like runway show. I'm like, yo, like Jesus.
They did the campaign, the sister campaign. That's like,
Yeah.
it's like.
Someone said latex made sense for the BDSM aspect of the Gianni Versace collection.
It's so weird that this aesthetic too that they've been doing lately. It's like I wonder if I don't know if you ever seen the movie Clueless.
Yeah.
I bet that's on the mood board every season. That has to have been on the mood board for the past 5 years of Versace. It's like they're really sucking this reference dry.
That's hilarious. Oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah, that's Mugler as hell. Yeah, Clueless.
Do you know what? Let me pause it because now that you say Clueless, wait 1 second. That looks so. That actually reminds me of Clueless.
I don't know. They've been doing that for a while now. It's like move on.
That mood board is TikTok fashion. Oh my. Someone's asking, is there such a thing as a supermodel anymore? No, not recent models.
Not in the sense of like the old. No, it's different now.
It's also, I don't know, like there was like a framework to become a model before that, whereas now, if you're like big on Instagram, you just become a model. And it comes down to like when you see the way people walk on runways, some people's walks are not great at all. Because I remember the years of the supermodels, like, oh my god, if you look at like some of the old runway shows where Naomi's walking, like there's a presence when she walks.
Yeah, the girls now don't have that anymore. They're less experienced, and I think now models have become expendable in a way that they don't get a chance to grow, and ever become anything. They just blip.
Well, you just think they have like a 5 to 10 year window, and then it's onto the new girl sort of thing.
Yeah. 5 if you're lucky. That's if you're lucky. Some of these girls, they stick around a season or two, and it's like they move on.
Adita Ketch. I don't think you can call her supermodel. She's definitely one of the, what's the right word to use? Like models of the moment, I guess.
I was gonna say industry staple.
Yeah, like models of the moment, but supermodel, I'm not too sure about that.
I guess like the only, but not even. I was gonna say like Maria Callas, but I think for a supermodel, part of it is like you kind of have to be a household name too. Like people that have nothing to do with fashion have to know who you are for you to be a supermodel. To me,
yeah. What does that shirt say? Like, I love you, but I prefer Versace, or something like that.
It's corny.
They're trying to go for like, Sunnei do all those like text prints on their t-shirts. Yeah, that's literally what it says. I love you, but I prefer Versace.
Who's doing that? That's some Italian sense of humor right there.
Yeah, going back to the supermodels conversation, I think part of what made the people we know, like Kate Moss, Naomi, Amber, I think what makes them supermodels is also the fact that, like, in the 90s, what they wore actually sold like hotcakes. And I don't know if it was the fact that they wore it, and a lot of women just like wanted to be like Naomi or wanted to be like, so that is also a big part of being a supermodel. Like you have so much pull that like what you wear becomes desirable almost. And I don't know, in a social media age, I don't know if that's like as possible.
It's also a matter of fact of like them being in the right place at the right time, you know,
Yeah.
in fashion.
Yeah. Someone, is Gigi a supermodel? No. No. Straight up, no. And said, if you walk in couture or like Fendi, is it like it? No, no, it's not. It's not. Otherwise, that means like there would be thousands and thousands of supermodels. Someone said Gigi and Bella are the bomb. I mean, definitely they're part of the nepotism crew, but I think they're more tasteful than the likes of like Kendall.
I feel like they respect the industry a little bit more too.
Yeah, and I think it's because of the even though it's nepotism, it's still they're directly from fashion because obviously their mother. Whereas Kendall is just a bit, I don't know.
And even Kaya Gerber, she's one that I take her seriously. Like
Yeah.
she seems like she you know, this is a career for her, you know, not just something to book a gig like Kendall Jenner.
Yeah. Someone said it would be virtual models soon. Yeah, this is the part that people are saying is cringy. Like 5 girls each posing, like posing in packs of 5. I don't know. I love Donatella.
Yeah, I love Donatella.
Yeah. I met her recently and I couldn't really understand a word of what she was saying, but I was just like, yeah, you're an icon. Because if guys haven't heard, I interviewed Tim Blanks because he wrote a book on Versace.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I interviewed him for Thames and Hudson, which is like the publisher of the book. So you can actually find the podcast. And that day, I met him, obviously, and then I met Donatella. And then we went from there to my school because they were giving a talk at CSM, which was interesting.
That's
and I
amazing.
didn't know Donatella's so small. I didn't expect it because I've only seen her on like TV and stuff. She's tiny. She's so small. I was so shocked.
A little legend.
Literally. Donatella ate more than the models did.
Now see how they had all those models with the in 5s, and watch the next campaign will be an only girl with Gigi. It's like, watch this.
Someone said I'm big as hell. No, but Donatella's small. Like, trust me, Donatella must be like 5 feet tall, if not 4'11". Like, seriously. Like, she's really small. Okay, what should we talk about next? So many things to talk about. I guess we can talk about money.
Okay.
I haven't seen the show, but I'll kind of like watch it live. So this should be very interesting. I want to go on Vogue Runway and see like the looks.
The music was very good by Dev Hines. He did the music again.
Yeah. Okay, let's see.
But I didn't read any show notes or anything from this collection. I just kind of got what he gave us, and
yeah. Okay, I see what you mean. I'm already looking at the looks, and it does kind of look all over the place, like really all over the place. But I need to see what the claimed inspiration points were to see if it actually makes sense in terms of like what the idea was.
I can't tell whether like what this set is. Like It looks like an outside, but this is inside, right? They're not outside.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this looks like a concert or something. I don't care for that.
Someone said Halloween.
Mm.
The show is an hour late to start, and they refuse to let people exit the venue and essentially lock them in. Damn.
Damn.
And an hour late. Wow.
Wow. There's a lot of people at that show.
Literally. A lot of locked in, trapped people.
Yeah, that's a lot of people there.
I'm trying to see if I can read what Francesco is actually trying to achieve. Let's see.
Mm. Even the way it's presented, it's a bit hard for us to see it from home.
Yeah.
It's not even moving like a. It's not the pacing is a bit weird in this show.
Someone said it looks like a ritual. Zombies.
Like kind of.
Why are they walking in 0.25? What if they got to use a sanitary facility? Isn't they locked in?
Right?
I guess they didn't care about that, I guess. What is Marnie known for? Don't know much about it. As far as I know, like bright colors for starters.
It's a bit quirky. I would say that.
Yeah. The tailoring is always very like wide, like very flowy. Marnie. Yeah, I don't know. It's not something very distinct.
I guess right now for like what Rizzo's doing is they're known for like knits, the knits
Yeah, a lot of
and
knitwear.
kind of they're kind of like one of the ones that doing the unisex thing really well with and they're being very inclusive about the
Yeah,
casting, and they do that very successful. The casting is typically good at mine,
yeah.
and they don't hire a lot of big models in their show.
Someone said bright colors, wide pants, mohair, sweaters, and stripes. Yeah, basically. Someone said Women's Wear Daily called it a shit show.
Damn.
Wait, let me read that 1 second. Damn, straight up.
I guess that's like a case when you try to outdo yourself, because I thought last season was very successful, but this just didn't. This didn't. It's very disappointing.
The Stand First on Women's Wear Daily says it was like a school play in the best and worst way. I already know
Oh,
it's not even started well.
that's sad. And what sucks too is that the clothes aren't making up for all the bullshit, that everybody else
Yeah,
had to deal with. I don't know. Sometimes it's like for Rizzo, he's one of my current new favorites right now, only because I think he would be a good pick for Prada after Miuccia, only because he's worked with the brand before. But then he's very hit and miss though at Marni, very hit and miss.
yeah. Yeah, they bashed it.
Yikes.
They talked about the fact that it was a 45 minutes waiting show to start, and then the fact that it was a slow moving runway procession. And then when it got to be too much for some, they still couldn't exit.
Wow.
And guards were actually physically preventing them from leaving, which is crazy.
Yeah, I think the show may have been 20 minutes long. And to me, that's kind of long for a fashion show.
Yeah.
Anything over 15 minutes is kind of long. Unless you're John Galliano. Or Mugler. Or Terry Mugler. It's like, we'll sit and watch this. So this has nothing to do with Marnie. Somebody just said, is Demna going to send out all of his models out in I Hate Russia vest?
Oh my.
I wonder if he's going to have any commentary on this, on what's happening on globally, like as far as his show.
I mean, he can't I'm not saying like everyone from Georgia has to think the same way, but Georgia and Russia hate each other. Like as countries, they hate each other. So I can imagine that Demna probably very anti-Russia.
This collection is so sad. Just watching it is not enticing at all.
Wait, is this actually true? Money are getting sued for human rights violations. Is that actually true?
No, I think she's playing.
Yeah, I was like, what? It's like, what?
Sure, we ain't too far. Somebody's probably filing some shit right now.
Someone said they find it hilarious. A bunch of rich people locked into a fashion show.
This looks like they had it open for anybody, though. There's so many people there.
Yeah, literally.
I don't get the flashlight thing. Like, I don't know what's going on with that.
I'm just talking shit. I need to actually go and look at what the inspiration was of this collection because it's so confusing. It's just like, why are they walking so slowly? It's sad because as quick as he's making money fetch again, he goes and does it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very hit and miss. Like he's just been hit and miss since he got there.
I'm not type Prada, but the shape on that. Yeah, John Skelton, yeah. There's someone saying he's talking about Demna. He'll definitely reference USSR. We'll see. We'll see.
Well, yeah,
we'll see. Someone said, "Can I put it on 1.5x?" You have to watch the show the way it was intended to be presented.
This silhouette of coat, like those coats, like the, I don't know how to describe
the shilling coats.
Yeah, that's been something I've been seeing in a few runways too. We just saw that kind of like in the Trussardi show.
Yeah. Although the shilling wasn't as exaggerated, of course.
Right.
But yeah. Someone said, was the Marni brand always like this? Definitely not.
No.
Definitely not.
It used to be very interesting. Marnie was
Yeah.
one of the weird ones on the calendar for a long time.
Marnie, I used to put Marnie not on the same, but like in terms of like interest as like Sunnei, because Sunnei they try something
Yeah.
wacky every season to try and cause excitement.
It was like the old Sunnei. Yeah, that's a good way to
Yeah.
look at it. Yeah.
Someone said I felt a strong Comme des Garçons vibe in it. Definitely a new Marnie, loving your nurses, guys. Yeah, in some Comme des Garçons shows, they do walk quite slowly, but yeah, I don't know. The clothing isn't like as confusing though. In terms of like, with Comme des Garçons mainline, you're going to get very outlandish clothing, whereas Marnie season to season is just so distinctly different.
And I feel like the purpose of them walking slow at a comb show is so you can take it in,
Yeah.
take in the look. With this they literally could have been walking on 1.5 speed and we would have been okay. The show would have been better off for it.
Wait, what did someone say?
And of course he's in the show. He's been in his own shows the past couple of seasons.
Yeah. Well, damn, I'm happy that I didn't see this show anytime prior because I would have been pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably going to be the most boring part of the live stream because the show is the most
Yeah,
boring.
it's not the best. And now that I'm watching it a second time, it's even worse. It's even worse. I don't get. Are those sleeves or is he carrying scarves?
They look like sleeves.
Why? Why?
Shout out Sierra.
Hey, what's up, C?
Sierra's cool. She said she's coming to London soon, so I told her if she comes, I'll give her the fashion tour.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Sierra's a good friend of mine here in New York.
Someone said, great, now he's a topless guy. I just feel like I've been watching this for so long and I still don't know what like is going on.
No, it's
and
no
also,
direction.
why are they pushing through like crowds of people? Like they literally have to like.
Yeah, it looks more like a concert than anything else.
Yeah. It's so dark. The models are literally holding torches. Interesting. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to put an end to this.
Yeah.
put myself out of my misery because this is actually so boring.
The music was good though. If you guys like Dev Hynes or Blood Orange music, like if you guys like his sound and you enjoyed the soundtrack, just put the music on in the background. Don't watch the show.
Just like as background entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so many shows. What should we talk about? Oh, let's talk about Jil Sander because
Okay.
Jil Sander wasn't really amazing. Like I wasn't really that impressed. It was kind of like similar to what I always see from Jil Sander. But in general, because it's like a lot of people like Jil Sander and what it always is, people do like that. First thing I noticed when I saw this collection actually was the silhouettes look so Balenciaga. Like the cinched in waist on the blazers, that is such a Balenciaga thing.
The design duo that was there, did they leave yet?
Oh no! It's Luke and Lucy Maya. Yeah, they're still there.
What brand was that? There was they had a design duo that just left.
Trying to think.
The people for Botter.
Oh yeah. So they left I think Nina Ricci because
Nina
they just
Ricci.
wanted to
I get them confused
because they wanted to focus on their brand completely,
Okay.
so they left. Yeah. But yeah, I just thought it was kind of like similar to like all the Jil Sander collections we always see. I don't know. I want them to kind of
switch it up.
Yeah, because the older, like when they first went to Jil Sander, oh my days! Like, let me check. There's a collection that I want people to check out. When the earlier Jil Sander days. Let's see.
Oh, my favorite Jil Sander era will always be the Raf era, just because it was so good.
Okay, yeah. So it's fall winter 2018. Like fall winter 2018, I really like that collection that they did. Yeah, I don't know. Since then, it's just been a bit, I don't know, kind of the same.
Oh, yeah, I remember this with the blues.
Yeah. They had so many good pieces. They had like a dress and a t-shirt that had like buttons going all the way across the body and stuff. Like really good pieces.
Yeah, I get what you mean by the it's the way that the cuts are a little bit like original Demna.
Yeah.
For Balenciaga.
Someone said models can't even walk with the shoes. I don't know. It's just really, I get it. Like they have a design language, but just switch it up a little bit. Like this whole like soft tailoring sort of.
Yeah.
Even like the set is so like it just looks soft. Like what is that? Is that like carpet? And then they've got like Greek-looking statues. It's just all really soft. I just want them to switch it up a bit. I really love the footwear the previous season, the puffy sandals, and the boots from last year. Yeah.
I wonder how the Jil Sander numbers are doing now, because it's not a brand that's on people's lips right now.
True. Although I know in DSM London, at least, so many people buy Jil Sander, but outside of DSM, I don't know how they do sales-wise. Because there's like brands you forget about, but then they like, in DSM for some weird reason, they like sell out. I'm like, Jil Sander sold out. Like sometimes it sells out on DSM. I'm like, what the hell?
This coat is really good.
Yeah. Looks like mohair trim. I like the way it moves.
Yeah.
Someone said Jil Sander does really well at Farfetch. Yeah.
Oh.
DSM got Jill on permanent sale. Get to pick up some late season shorts on the cheap. Yeah. When I go to DSM though, a lot of like the runway pieces they sell out. Did someone say it sells well in Antwerp? Yeah, it is wearable. So yeah, you can translate it into a lot of wardrobes. I think it's more why I get surprised that people buy Jil Sander is like when I think of Jil Sander, you have to think of the competitors of brands that make kind of sort of commercial clothing like Bottega, Balenciaga to an extent, depending on what you're talking about. And so it's like most customers, are they going to buy Jil Sander over other things at a similar price point?
Yeah, it's a lot of competition within that, that design realm.
Yeah.
Even in France, like I'm sure like the person that buys Jil Sander also buys, like La Mer.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a lot of competition within that minimal listic.
And then if you have more money, I guess you buy the row or something.
Oh, and then you upgrade to the row.
That's harsh. Someone said I put Jil Sander brand in the theory lane.
Oh,
that's harsh.
Yeah. We're not there yet with Jil Sander. It could be. You never know. One day.
It could. Like for me, my favorite Luke and Lucy Maya collection is still Fall Winter 18. But since then, I haven't really been moved by what they've been doing. Did someone ask what happens to Phoebe Philo? I don't know. Last thing I heard, she was like coming back, and like LVMH is like funding part of her brands. It's like has a minority stake, and then we just never heard from her again.
Oh, I don't know why I assumed that she was going to show like this week or next week.
Yeah.
Oh,
I hope so.
She's going to be like Beyonce and just do a surprise show. That would honestly kind of be sickening from her. That would be really cool. If she did if she pulled a Beyonce and like, hey, I'm having this show out of nowhere.
Yeah. Now I want to know because, man, Phoebe Philo's fan base is strong. It's so strong. So I can imagine like the mass hysteria when she drops a collection.
Mm-hmm.
All the Instagram pages are going to be going crazy. An Instagram page called New Philo or something is probably going to be formed.
Right. You already know. I don't mind. Just take her. She needs to just take her time. Like, if she's coming back, and she needs to come back in a big way.
Yeah.
It's like tennis skirts.
It's so interesting though for all these minimalistic brands because they have quite a hard task. Because it kind of has to be minimal in a way, but they have to see how they can play with the shapes every season. Because Jil Sander herself was so good at that, even though it was like quite minimal in like color palette and stuff like that. The shapes were actually really interesting, like in the 90s. But I don't know, it's hard. It's hard to do.
I feel like the problem with this design duo is that they're really stuck in the lane. They only have a kind of singular vision with what they've been able to produce. It's like when Raph was at Jil Sander, he's still stuck to the minimalistic aesthetic, but the collections weren't ever the same.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. It just needs some range, I guess. Look, that's a pilgrim dress.
Someone said they like Sakai more. Sakai also is kind of a brand that needs to evolve a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I get that she likes the military inspiration and all that stuff, but like, damn.
It's stuck.
Every season, though.
Yeah, Sakai's it's kind of stuck right now.
But I did like what she did. She was like guest designer. I think the first one actually for Jean Paul Gaultier Couture.
Yeah, that was successful.
Yeah, I really liked that collection. Who was the last person that did it? Because I know recently there was another designer.
Glenn Martins.
Yeah, there we go. It was Glenn Martins. He's been busy. Oh my god.
Yeah, he's been working. but it's all been stuff like that's kind of good.
Yeah,
he's been doing very well.
Diesel. What did you think of the Diesel collection?
I didn't watch. I saw like a few images of the Diesel collection. I've been hearing that it's good though.
Oh, okay, we can watch that after because that was quite interesting actually.
Those hats, like, those are those hats that like those dudes. Oh my god, those hats that people used to wear in the hood all the time. Like I don't know the name of those hats, but there's a name of those. Like Like the real Hotep dudes wear them.
Yeah.
Somebody in the comments might know.
Someone say Diesel was good for the first time in years.
I wonder
Yeah.
what's the price point on it.
I mean, now that Glenn Marston's is there, probably more
Shut up.
expensive.
Yeah.
And also, it just depends what they're trying to do with it. Because Diesel, they've been experimenting for years and years and years. Like, obviously, it started like as a denim brand, but I know they've had like, there was something called Diesel Style Lab in I think like the 90s, and that's supposed to be like a high-end version, and then that dissolved. So I don't know if now that Glenn Marston's is there, they want to make it high-end fashion again, or they're just going to go the normal Diesel price point.
Put on my light.
There are some really intriguing details. Yeah, we'll definitely get into that after. What show is this? This is Jil Sander, Fall Winter 2022. Designed by Luke and Lucy Meyer and their team. But also, something I remembered. So this is something that Matthew Blazy, I think, said, that he's wanting to dress like older women rather than younger women, which a lot of brands are going for right now. And I think that's the same sentiment that like Luke and Lucy Meyer echoed, that they're designing for a more mature sort of audience, which makes sense why it's kind of a bit more pared back.
Yeah.
But I guess because they have all the stats on like who actually buys the clothing. So I guess they're just really fulfilling the customers' wants.
That makes a lot of sense now. And that does have to be brands that, that represent that type of women as well, because everything has really gone to marketing towards the Instagram community, the influencer community. Like okay, so this it makes me respect their design aesthetic a little bit more.
Yeah. Because they're actually specifically designing. That's why I just remembered. I was like, let me bring it up. Because they're actually specifically designing for an older customer base. Like they said it in an interview, I think. And said, I think dressing older women is a wiser idea. They're the ones buying the clothes. Yeah, I agree. I think you have to strike a balance also, that you're also bringing a younger audience along, because when the new wave of customers come in, you don't want to be like isolated.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think we can watch Diesel next, because that was a really interesting collection. I know a lot of people liked it. But yeah, Glenn Martins, I don't know how he does it.
Yeah, he has
like
so
Y
many
Project
ideas.
And Jean-Paul Gaultier and Diesel. Oh my God.
This head must be about to explode. I didn't realize I'm going through Milan right now. I did not realize how many shows I missed.
Yeah, there were so many shows.
So many.
Same way I miss Marnie and stuff. There's so many. Like, there's shows that I haven't watched, but I'm probably going to watch them after. Like, there was Armani and then Imperial Armani. I haven't seen those, but people were telling me some interesting stuff about those brands. There was also Ferrari.
Yeah, no, I don't think the Ferrari brand.
I definitely didn't see that. But I saw a few looks, but I haven't actually seen the actual show or what the ideas are supposed to be. So that's another thing.
I missed a lot of the Milan mainstays like Etro and Masoni and Roberto Cavalli. I missed all of those shows.
And so, do you think Renzo Rosso is preparing Glenn to succeed Galliano at Margiela? Maybe. Possibly. But that's a good point. I wasn't even thinking about that.
Wow, that would be very interesting.
Yeah.
I
think his aesthetic works for Margiela too.
Yeah, it does.
I really think he's capitalizing on Y2K wave / resurface. She's garnering lots of hype. It's like the best time for a rebrand. Yeah, but also when you think of like how people were wearing Diesel in the 2000s, that's kind of how they were wearing it. Because I know in this collection they had like these low-rise jeans, and I was like, yeah, that literally looks like the early 2000s.
That's the Diesel cut.
Yeah. Like I feel Diesel was very much involved in the whole Y2K scene when it happens. I just find it funny. What are those like massive blown up?
Yeah, those people.
Oh my days, that's funny.
I guess they have to do something for, the sake of commercialism. They're interesting to look at, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I love the set, it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's really funny.
Someone said it was done by Demner's guy. Who's that? He worked on this and Donda 2 in the same week. Damn.
Yeah.
People in fashion just be working like crazy. But yeah, I don't know. In this collection, I'm definitely seeing a lot of like an ode to the 2000s, like how people were wearing Diesel in the 2000s.
No, I don't hate this, especially for a brand like Diesel that's been, it's been extremely low key commercial for a long time. This is a big upgrade for the brand.
Yeah. Even like that, those pieces, they don't look like they're denim. They look like they've been printed on and stuff, which I know Glenn Martins loves doing that. Like even at Y Project, he likes like printing fabrics on fabric. So like something will look like a fabric that it's not actually. So that's something he's brought to Diesel, which is interesting because denim is considered like a mainstay of Diesel, but he's actually just using different fabrics and making it look like denim, which is interesting.
I like this. So is he going to be there? Like, is this like his?
Okay, so someone said the jeans are leather. There we go, because they didn't look like denim. Yeah, so it's actually leather printed to look like denim. Interesting. A process called hydroki.
Wow, that's cool.
That's another thing. Like Diesel's known for like manipulating fabrics in different ways. So I'm sure if I looked into the collection, there are probably even more things than just like the denim. Yeah, I think I talked about that. Bottega's denim look on that. Yeah, I talked about that.
Yeah, I don't mind this at all. He could treat this like a Y Project diffusion line, honestly, and this is successful.
And because it's probably going to be obviously a lower price point than Y Project, I feel like a lot of people are going to buy this.
Yeah.
Like commercially, it's probably going to do really well.
Okay.
Skin tight pieces with the matching face paint.
Yeah, the matching skin.
We love to see it.
Like the Powerpuff Girls.
Interesting. I love the spray paint looks on that PS2 era shit. PS2 era. I can't really see the footwear, but I know a lot of people are talking about the footwear, which is what I'm trying to look at.
I can't tell.
That model was really struggling to
Yeah, she was struggling.
She's actually slowing down the whole. Let me see if I can find detail shots of the footwear, because I'm actually interested.
Yeah, I can see this being very successful for him and Diesel.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I see what people are talking about. He made these like leather boots that have the same sort of denim print on them. Ah, that's interesting. I like that. If this guy rehabilitates Western back, I'm gonna lose my shit. Celebrities are definitely worth this collection. Like, what celebrities though?
To me, this gives me regular people are going to wear this.
Yeah.
This is definitely if you're a fan of Glenn Martin, like, and this is only going to like I don't know who the Diesel customer was before this, but they're definitely going to be surprised when they go into the store next time.
And most times, what happens when designers like Glenn go to brands like this is people who are just fans of Glenn and follow his work but can't afford Y Project. Most of them are going to buy into like, you know, cheaper stuff that he makes that they can afford. So like stuff like this. Normani in her generation.
Normani's still a thing.
The Fifth Element. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Ooh. That looks painful. What show is this? This is Diesel for Winter 22 by Glenn. Is this live going to be on the... Yeah, I'm going to leave it up. So don't worry. You can watch it back after if you want to. They're asking if you have a YouTube.
No. Actually, Sierra has been pushing me to start one, but I'm so lazy about it.
You know, I pushed Sierra to make a YouTube channel. It's hilarious.
Oh,
like
see?
basically, I did a live stream and it was like, this was ages ago. And it was titled like why don't we see more women in fashion YouTube? And I was basically inviting like women to actually tell me like, why is it that I don't see a lot outside of like content that's like how ways to wear like a white like the really generic stuff.
Right.
And then Sierra like hopped on that live and we were talking. She was like, yeah, it's weird. Why don't we? And then she like started her channel. I was like, finally.
You're right. Yeah, she does a really good job at it.
Yeah.
You know, just especially like the type of styling that she does. It's a very good sector for style
Yeah.
for
I
YouTube.
just hope she gets big quickly because I don't know, the kind of content she makes, it's popular. Like in terms of like it could be popular. It just takes like the right people to promote it. Like
Right.
one of those ways to wear that has 1 million followers, if they just like pushed it, I feel like she would go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Because her taste is like amazing.
Yeah, it's insane.
Her YouTube, it's Sierra Parker. I'll type it in the chat.
Yeah, follow Sierra Parker on YouTube, y'all.
She has amazing style, I must say.
Yeah, this was a good show. I'm very pleasantly surprised at this.
Yeah. Especially for a first runway collection
Mm-hmm.
with Glenn at Diesel. These blow up figures are still making me laugh. It's just like laid down.
And all these provocative positions. It's really cool though.
Yeah.
It's something to look at too. It's like even if you're not liking the collection, it's something to look at.
Yeah. Antwerp kids going strong. Demna and Glenn.
Mm.
And then of course the Belgian with Matthew Blazy, Peter Mulier. I feel like Belgians are taking over fashion. The way it's going.
Who else is it? It's
So Glenn, Demna, obviously Pierre Mulier, Raf, Matthew Blazy. Who else is from Belgium? There's like a few because I remember thinking, why are there so many Belgians are like in huge positions now, which is cool.
Yeah, I guess really the only American right now is making waves is Scaparelli.
Yeah, Daniel Roseberry.
Yeah, Daniel Roseberry. Yeah,
I love what he's done because they've tried so many times to bring that brand back and they failed terribly. So bad.
Mm-hmm. It's finally hitting now. It's
Yeah.
Even though it is, you know, it's I'm not even gonna. It's I guess it is repetitive, but it's still so good. But even with this last couture collection, it something about it felt a little fresh.
Yeah.
But I love what he's doing. But I just fear that it's. I just wonder, like, how profits wise, like, how long can this last? I guess as long as they have enough money to support it.
Yeah. Someone said, do you think it will be popular commercially since the price point is quite high? I don't think it's Raf Calvin high, though. It's not going to be that high. Because the whole reason why the whole Raf Calvin thing didn't work was because the price point was way too high. Which doesn't really have much to do with Raf, because I don't think Raf actually sets the price. It's more like the CEO of the brand. It's like those kind of people that set it.
Yeah, the money people messed him up with that.
Yeah. But no, the prices they were charging for some of that stuff is like, yo, this
Insane.
is not going to sell.
And then you see what it sells for now.
Like literally, it went on like sale for crazy low.
Well, yeah, it's very inexpensive. Well, considering how much it was,
Yeah.
it's cheaper now.
Let me see if I can find the Sunnei show because I just found that quite funny, as all their shows are. Okay, yeah, here it is. It was just like when they started running, it was just like, why are they running?
I've seen this on Instagram. I haven't seen the full thing yet. I thought it was so strange.
It's interesting though, because I think the idea was like it's a commentary on One, the fact that like people are always running during fashion week, like rushing from show to show. But then it was also the idea that like, despite what people were saying about the pandemic and we're going to slow down, but then fashion is still moving fast.
Yeah.
So it's sort of this like comical joke of like, why are we still running in fashion in like all the different ways that we run and move too fast in fashion? But it was funny. It was funny. Especially the models, because when the models are running, you could tell that some of them never ran track in their lives.
Mm-hmm. They lied during the casting.
Yeah, this is it. So like how you come out of a taxi in a fashion show and then you start running. But yeah, I love Sunnei because I just think it's always funny. It's quite humorous. Like someone said, yeah, clever and humorous. I wonder where they ran to. That's quite a distance to run.
That's
it's not. It's not a short runway.
No, it's not.
They really made the models work for their money.
Yeah, they did.
Damn.
They had to have had a Reese. Like, how could you take in the collection?
You can barely take it in
Right.
because they're just running across.
It's like, I'll come see this shit tomorrow.
Don't worry, I'll see you in the showroom.
Right.
This is definitely one of those. Run, Lola, run.
Poor girl.
Yeah, this model definitely doesn't run track. When you do prices, do Institut Français de la Mode collections because he puts out some good stuff. Not just LVMH carrying cover. Yeah, I mean, even I could have covered the CSM MA show, but it's so complicated because it's so many designers in one show. So I need to actually sit down and like at CSM as a journalism student, we only get to like work with one student. So I could only really tell you about one student's work. So you don't get to look at the clothes. This is a bad idea. I guess it's a two-edged sword because you don't get to see the clothes, but then on social media, because of the running, it's something that makes the rounds, and then people get to see the clothes that way, I guess. A literal runway.
Somebody said the Marnie show should have been like this.
Yeah. Instead of walking in slow motion.
Oh, those pants? Oh, I love those. Yeah, that's cool. See, it's effective when it's like you have a model at the right pace, in the right look. Yeah, she has no clue. She's wearing a hard shoe to run into.
Imagine they put some of these models in like heels to run. Oh my God. I liked in this collection, from what I'm seeing, I really liked a lot of the knitwear. But yeah, also, I just thought about it. Thinking about running, it makes a lot of sense when you think Sunnei, because they've been moving recently into like activewear. Like even, I remember watching a campaign. Was it a campaign or maybe a video that they did? And it was just like a woman doing yoga for like just an amount of time in Sunnei activewear. So also, I guess this goes into like their idea of like moving more into activewear, having models running.
That means they're about to have a collab pop up now.
Probably. We're gonna see another Adidas and Sunnei or something.
I don't mind. Sunnei, they deserve the visibility.
Yeah.
It's some brands that really that they need that, you know.
Someone says it's difficult for me to wear any pants except for jeans. Really? Sometimes jeans can be uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I need something more lightweight. What show is this? Sunnei for winter 2022. I'll type it in the chat. Which reminded me of how the older fashion shows were very theatrical. Interesting. Hoka, Sunnei. That would kind of work, you know, like the Hoka, those like high platform shoes. I feel like it works with the aesthetic. Wait, is that car just going? I just realized it's going to pick models up and then driving them back.
Right, that's what I was like. How many models are inside each car?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love these pants. The way they're moving the silhouette is really nice. They're proving that their stuff is made to wear right now. Like you got to break it in. Oh, okay.
This guy has the technique down. Damn, he's got the arms and everything. Oh, she's fast. Yeah, no one's gonna see those clothes. She's really
She's moving.
Like, damn.
She's a runner.
Yeah, you can tell from her technique.
Mm-hmm.
Effortless. Some of these things can be probably so hard to run in. Like that outfit, the skirt looks like it's hard to run in.
I can't hear the music. Did they have music?
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
I would play it, but copyright.
Oh no, that's fine. I just wanted to know if they had it or not. She's late for the bus.
With a backpack.
Yeah.
So much mohair this season.
It's a lot of it.
I'm glad no one tripped.
Right?
Imagine. Oh my word, that would have been a disaster. They must have practiced it quite a lot. Oh my god, we've got another sprinter.
Do you think Sunnei has a product staple yet?
No, not really. When I think of Sunnei, I think of like it on a seasonal basis.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of like, oh, like 2 seasons ago it was like the knitwear, and the season before it was like the t-shirts that had all the funny phrases. Yeah, I don't think they have an aesthetic. Like I can see a Sunnei collection and someone won't tell me what it is and I can tell. But in terms of like products, individual products, not that I can think of.
Do you think that you need one to be successful nowadays, or do you think people could just get by aesthetic?
I think some brands can get by aesthetic. I think it just depends on the brand. Like I'm trying to think of a good example of that.
Right, I'm trying to think of one too. I can't think of one.
Because I know Sunnei isn't doing badly. Let me try and think.
See, I was gonna say like Gautier, but then I guess the product is the perfume.
Yeah.
I can't think of one right now.
I'm actually going to think about that. Okay, let me think. No, that's a bad example. I was going to say Fendi, but then Fendi is the bags. But in terms of clothing, I don't think Fendi has like a clothing like product set. Like you don't think Fendi and think,
Right.
people go to Fendi to buy coats or something like that.
I guess for the fur, it was known for a long time. Did
Yeah,
they finally get rid of the fur too?
I think now they're only using like faux fur, so they don't use real fur anymore.
I don't know. For some brands, it's like if that's part of your heritage now, don't back down now just because everybody on your back. If that's what you do, that's what you do.
That's like Bottega because they had loads of leather because at the end of the day, that's their brand's
Mm-hmm.
ethos. But I do feel like eventually people are going to start protesting outside of Bottega collections, and then they might feel pushed into, not using leather, start using like mushroom leather or something, or like pineapple leather.
And then charge us triple the price.
Someone said Owens. When I think of Rick Owens, I just think of Ramon. So I think that's like a product state. I think a lot of people that get into Rick, they buy Ramones first.
Yeah.
Rick has products like Geo's,
Mm-hmm.
Ramones. Even now, it's like Kiss Heels. That's like become like a thing.
Mm-hmm. Funny enough,
faux leather is cheaper. It is.
it could be Versace. They kind of are an aesthetic. They aren't really a singular product, are they?
I'm trying to think. Because
Maybe the shirts are, but but I don't think Versace, like, they're not known for a bag or a particular shoe.
yeah,
They're known for a look.
yeah. I guess most of it is really tacky, but I think most of the like celebrities and stuff that wear it, they wear like stuff with the Medusa print printed on it, but that's still not like a product. It's more like a print, like a logo.
Yeah, it's a logo.
Tom Brown. Tom Brown has products though. Like Tom Brown loafers are like an actual thing.
Yeah, they're like another one. So it's the logo.
Yeah,
It's yeah.
because they just put those 3 stripes on like anything. So Versace is known for Donatello. I mean, now it is, of course.
Yeah. That's why she'll never leave. I think they need her.
Someone say Craig Green. I feel like Craig Green is known for quilted jackets.
Yeah.
So that's a product. Like Craig definitely has an aesthetic, but I do think like mainly it's known for quilted jackets. Like most people that I see that wear Craig Green, especially in like London, it's the quilted jackets. Trying to think what show haven't I covered? I didn't cover Machina, I don't think. Okay. What's that? And then yeah, there's still Blumarine. Do you like Blumarine? What do you think of the brand?
Try hard. It's like trendy. It's
Yeah.
Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. I'm not a fan of what they're doing.
Yeah.
I guess, do they still have a lot of Vokova there?
Yeah, as a stylist, yeah, she's still there.
Yeah.
She styled the last like the most recent collection too. I think
Someone
it's just
said Givenchy.
Givenchy. Does Givenchy have a product? That's a good one. I don't think it does. Not that I can think of anyway. Especially because the creative directors are so different too.
Yeah, very.
Blumarine is just rehashed Y2K. I think this season it wasn't that though. I think this season it wasn't like the unapologetic Instagram 2000 like whatever Y2K. This season they kind of went in a different direction. Yeah, this Moschino collection, I don't know. I had a few gripes with it because I know one of the big inspirations was Space Odyssey. And what frustrates me about that is just so many people have used Space Odyssey as an inspiration, including Undercover. And I just don't like when people in fashion like rehash the same inspiration pieces. But the other part of it that I liked, I know this collection was inspired by like interiors, so every look has something to do with like interiors, whether it's like what they're holding or like that hat that looks like a lamp. And that's more of an idea of, because we've been in lockdown, one of the things that we've learned to appreciate is like staying at home. And then also with what's going on in Ukraine, there's also that idea of, you know, people really just appreciating like being able to be at home with their family and stuff. So I like that part of it. The Space Odyssey side, I didn't like much of it. And then I feel like it was just a bit random because most of it is like an interior inspired collection. And then all of a sudden, there are just these random looks that are supposed to be inspired by Space Odyssey. It was just a bit weird.
I feel like Jeremy Scott has the ability to make things that go viral,
Yeah.
like very, very viral. And I feel like in recent years, like Moschino has been lacking that a little bit. It's like it's not as strong as it used to be. Like I remember the McDonald's collection and how that was really like his skyrocket from, you know, into high fashion. Because I mean, nobody took Jeremy Scott seriously before that. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it could, this could be stronger. He could be saying something a little bit more. Because I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I guess the reference isn't, like you said, the reference is
Yeah.
overused and not strong enough.
Here goes our Instagram moment. What's that supposed to be? Probably like a rug or something.
I thought it was one of those like foldable, like things that you kind of hide behind when you're changing. What are those called?
Oh yeah, it could be that, like a curtain or like
Yeah.
a yeah. Yeah, it could be that. I don't know why it looked like a rug to me from that angle.
Or it could be somebody rolled up in a rug.
Yeah, Moschino is playful. It's playful. I do like the playfulness of it for sure. I always wonder though who would actually buy it, but then actually no, that's a lie. I know exactly who's going to buy that.
Yeah, there's definitely a customer for
Yeah.
this, you know.
Someone call it a room divider. Is that what
Room
it's called?
divider.
Ah.
Mm. Yeah, I think what it is, I'm just not like connecting to the reference.
Yeah. I also read that what's his name? Stephen Jones designed a lot of the headpieces in the collection, which
Uh,
makes sense.
I love Stephen Jones.
So I like how anytime anyone wants to make any sort of distinctly complicated headwear, everyone calls on Stephen Jones, like all the time.
I mean, you really only got the two legends. It's him or Philip
Literally,
Tracy.
literally, and it's so hard to make some of the stuff. Like I remember Stephen Jones did an interview when he was making headwear for Dior, like one of Kim Jones's collections, and he was talking about the weight, how they're really struggling, like where they were going to put the hardware, because if they put it in the wrong place, it would fall off your head because the
Oh
weight
yeah.
distribution wasn't right, and then they fixed it. I'm like, damn, this is almost like science.
I regret like 2 weeks ago, Stephen Jones during New York Fashion Week, he had a workshop thing where he was talking at the Brooklyn Museum. I'm so mad I didn't get a ticket for that. It sold out super quick.
I can imagine.
I feel like it's just one of those like those legends. I want that, you know, unfortunately, like that, you know, has not that much time with us left in the industry.
Yeah.
I really want to see Stephen Jones and just taking his knowledge. You know what I mean? What was that supposed to be?
I have no idea. Mom said I want those pants. I like that dress. Someone said who's gonna buy all of it. Trust me, I know who's gonna buy all of this.
The majority of the Moschino money, where does it come from?
Well, I just know of some like really quirky rich women that buy stuff like this. Like they dress so quirky.
So it's the ready to wear then.
Yeah. I think no, don't their fragrances do well? I think they have their fragrances do well.
The one that's like a Windex.
Yeah.
I don't know if I think I've seen one person have that before, but
You know the Moschino one that looks like not even just that one. There's one that looks like what's it? It's like a teddy bear almost.
oh yeah, the teddy bear. They had the
Yeah,
McDonald's.
yeah. I feel like they do well. Someone says cosmetics. Yeah.
They have cosmetics.
I didn't even know that. Let me Google that. Moschino cosmetics. When I think of cosmetics, I think of like Yves Saint Laurent and Chanel.
Yeah, yeah. Even Dior, they have like
Yeah.
skincare and all that stuff too.
Oh wow, they've got body lotion and they've got what is all of this?
It's probably the ready to wear though that they make a majority of their money from.
Yeah. Someone said their bags do well and underwear.
Probably in LA. It's very LA aesthetic.
People buy Moschino boxes and then like put in their trousers low so they can show that they've got designer underwear.
Yeah, it's you live in specific cities if you're wearing Moschino. I'm sorry.
I think there was a collaboration with Sephora where they made it look like school pencils and erasers. Okay. I just found it. I just found it. That sounds interesting.
Who are they under like a brand umbrella, or is it just are they still private?
No, I think they're owned by like a parent company. What's it called again? I'm sure people in the chat will know. But it's like I definitely think it's owned by a parent company. I've forgotten what it's called. If people know in the chat who owns Moschino, let me know.
I'm looking it up.
Okay, it's called like AEFFE Group.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Italia.
FA or something, yeah.
FA.
So they own, yeah. Yeah, I knew it was owned by some sort of yeah, there we go. People are commenting it in the chat. Interesting.
Now I'm looking up to see who else is under this. I think Alberto Ferretti as well.
Yeah. while we're going through that, we can watch Blumarine, the controversial brand. Yeah, I think they went a different direction in this collection. It was very different to like the Y2K thing they always do.
It's very interesting. All of these brands that are relying heavy on this trend right now. It's like, where are you going to go after this?
Yeah.
It's a few brands really like relying heavy on the Y2K trend right now.
Why is it controversial? It's not that. I'm just exaggerating. It's to do with the fact that they rose back to prominence because obviously they reference like the Y2K scene, the early 2000s, and a lot of people seem to like that because it's becoming like a trendy thing to dress like that. Like even the brands that were popular back then, they're all coming back.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. This is still a little Y2K. I remember girls wearing those little rosettes on the.
I think it's just less as blatant as like past collections.
Less blatant. That's a good way to put it. Even the bags, the little sparkly bag.
Yeah.
It's subtle. It's subtle.
I wonder what they're going to do next collection, if they're going to go even further away from the Y2K aesthetic or if they're just going to go all the way back. And that will
like
definitely depend on it'll depend on like sales and stuff. If they're like, oh, we went too far and it's like not doing well commercially, they might go back.
I do remember some of this looked like Saint Laurent when I watched it the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, we've talked about this, but I'll leave the live stream up so you can watch it back. That's definitely Y2K though, that look there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this too.
Yeah.
With the ruching, yeah, it's.
How do you gain access to show notes? I'm guessing you have to know something. Well, most times I ask my friends that go to the shows. Otherwise, I have to ask PR.
Don't look at show notes.
Yeah, you shouldn't. So when people look at show notes, I think people look at show notes for the sake of like, I'm gonna get all the information all in one. But when you get show notes, you should just read it in terms of like, okay, this is what the designer claims is the inspiration point for the collection, and then you have to go a step further and then see for yourself if that it makes sense. Because like I said earlier, designers make up the idea and the narrative for a collection after they've designed. I'm not saying everyone, but it does happen. So you can't just take some show notes at face value.
Yeah, I'm not too much of a fan of reading show notes just because I like to form my own opinion.
Yeah.
About what the collection is or what it was trying to say, and if it's a very complicated collection, then I might look at show notes, but I tend not to look at it.
Yeah. I just use it maybe if I want to review a collection and I want to see if like they make like statements so I can quote someone.
You're a student, so you should, read them. It makes sense for you to read them, but
yeah, to quote someone or something like that. That boob out. I hope my channel's not going to get shut down.
Right?
What they say? Do fashion brands, such as what's been shown, rely on their wealthy haute couture clients or regular working class people for profit? Haute couture doesn't make money like that. It's not a profit-making thing. It's more of a novelty thing that helps a brand keep its esteem. So, like, I remember Demna Versace said in an interview that the couture collection for Balenciaga wasn't like a big money maker, but it helps Balenciaga continue to be seen as one of the tastemakers in fashion, and that's what helps you make money in ready to wear. It's that perception. So that's why people still do it, but it's not. It doesn't make money. It's ready to wear, bags, perfume, shoes. That's the stuff that makes the real money.
I'm very scared for the future of couture, like what it could be.
Yeah.
I don't think enough people are taking the time to learn all of these techniques that that were passed down for hundreds of years now. It's very scary where couture could be in 50 years.
Yeah. Someone said they like Virgil's show notes. Yeah, Virgil actually,
he did do good show notes,
and you can tell that it's made sense because it was so comprehensive. Some of his show notes are like 50 pages, and he's telling you like step by step the idea behind what he was doing. So yeah, his show notes made like a lot. So I loved his show notes.
Yeah, his show notes were really well done, especially for people that you could tell that he wrote them for people that may not know necessarily like just the landscape of fashion, but this is what this collection is, and this is how I did it.
Even down to like the fabrics he used, and like it's crazy.
Yeah, but like showing us like Prada, it's like y'all just trying to give me a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, literally.
They're selling me bullshit.
Literally, yeah. The Prada thing, yeah. I don't buy anything that they say in the show notes because a lot of, well, not, maybe I did in the past because it did make sense. Now it just doesn't make it. They're just showing us really commercial collections and then trying to like over conceptualize it to give it added meaning. You know what? To talk about Prada, I've read this like really in-depth study that someone did for their dissertation about like how Prada has used art to make the brand seem more intelligent. And it was a really deep analysis going into how Prada's like been working with art, and it has like an art foundation, and it's associating itself a lot with art to sort of seem like and then it pushes back into the clothing seeming more like artsy. Even the way the stores are designed, like the interior design and stuff, they've changed it to look more artsy. And it was so interesting. That's like, oh my God, let me see if I can, if I still have it. Because if I still have it, I'll see if I can send it to people if they're interested in reading it. But I remember reading it, like being like, damn, fashion is a game.
It's a game. I don't know, but I believe the intellectual, side of Prada. I feel like it's not all just for show or.
I think it was intellectual when Mucha was there, though.
Oh, more about the recent years.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm talking about the recent years. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, I agree then. Yeah.
Oh, what was this study called again? There we go. I found it. So it's called Prada and the Art of Patronage. You might be able to find it if, like, people Google it, Prada and the Art of Patronage. You might be able to find like the PDF of it. But it's a really good read. Like if you can just like sit down and read it, it's really good. The same as what is going on with music. I really believe it's because the quality, craftsmanship, and creativity was at a much higher standard. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's like kind of the customers are to blame as well, because a lot of customers don't really know how to differentiate between like a high quality garment and one that's not. And that goes down to like the reasoning behind why a lot of people buy the stuff that they buy. There's still like a lot of flex culture because like social media and stuff, people just want to show off. So there's no consideration into like, is this actually high quality? Like if you're buying a Balenciaga t-shirt for like 300 euros, I mean, come on.
I mean, it's like all, aspects of different industries now. It's all being affected by the consumer, because we want less, they give us less. They give us, trends, they give us whatever is going to sell. It's sad now, but Hmm.
Everyone's trying to act intelligent but not actually be intelligent. Because the references are so obscure and made up, nothing really makes sense anymore, discouraging people to look into it. So the thing about it is, so my lecturer at school, she really harkens down on like really reading behind like a collection. So like the way she teaches us to like look at a collection. So like if a designer says they're inspired by so and so book, we have to actually read it to be sure that they're actually inspired. Like we can't just take anything at face value, because if you're a fashion journalist, obviously it's different because a lot of people aren't critical, because obviously if you work for Vogue, like the same brands are the brands that like pay the bills of the company anyway. But like if you're trying to be critical, you have to actually read between the lines, and you can only do that if you understand completely the inspiration points. Like my lecturer, because she's so knowledgeable, she can tell you straight up. Like I remember one time J.W. Anderson, what was he inspired by? I can't remember, but it just made no sense. And she was like breaking it down point for point, and she was like showing us like the book, like if it was supposed to be inspired by this, this would be that, like really critical.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you should view fashion. You can't really take things at face value just because someone said it. But that's also what differentiates like the really great designers, because a lot of people don't know why some designers are considered great and why others aren't. But like someone like McQueen, for example, he was someone who, when he was younger, he used to like go to art museums all the time. And eventually, when he started referencing things, even his mum was like, I think, like a history teacher or something like that. So when he started designing, it was so rooted in like proper research, and like people still look into like the references and stuff, and it all makes a lot of sense. Like it just shows like a different attention to detail. And someone says, "Still feel traumatized by the money shit."
It was bad, man.
So I was asking you, where's it? I'm still in school, unfortunately, but I go to CSM, but I can't wait to leave. That sounds kind of bad. I hope no one from my school's watching it, but yeah. I just want to be a free man. I'm tired of school. I've had too much school for one lifetime. Interesting. So, predictions for Paris. What shows are you looking forward to in Paris?
The show that I was looking forward to was actually today. I haven't looked at it yet, but Vaquera, they had their show in Paris.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. I love that brand so much. Just the like, it's so awkward on purpose. Like I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just had their show, so I'm that. Um, who else do we have in Paris right now? I forgot.
Let me see who was on today.
Off-White was today, but
A
I'm
lot of
not
people
ready
have been
to
talking
that
about
show.
it.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen any of the Paris shows, to be honest. Off-White, Vaquera.
I want is Galliano doing a show this year, or is he still doing the film?
I hope he is.
You like the films?
No, I'd want a runway show.
I want a runway show from him.
I like the films because sometimes he explains stuff in depth, like they're like really long.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, you just want to see like how he's going to present these things on an actual runway.
Yeah, he's the king of presentation on the runway. So I think everybody always looks forward to see what he's
Yeah.
going to do, like what ideas that he could have. And even though it's never as grand as the Dior stuff, like the Dior presentations, he still sneaks his little Galliano-isms in there.
Yeah.
I definitely prefer his runway shows to the films.
Someone said, do I want to keep working at a brand on the side? I don't work for any brands. I just mainly work for publications. Like I was recently at BOF, but I don't know. I'm still on two minds if I'm going to be a journalist because I think my YouTube channel is fun, so I'm always going to continue that. But when I graduate, I might work in marketing and then continue like running my magazine. I don't know. I'll see when I graduate. That's a conversation for next year when I graduate. Right now, I'm just trying to get good grades.
Right? Yeah. Do all that stuff, but stay in school. You know, it's so cliche, but shit, stay in school as long as you, because this real life shit ain't fun. It is not fun. These bills gonna keep coming at you.
Literally.
Oh,
It's hard.
I'm looking
It's
at last
hard.
season. My bad. Go
What's
ahead.
that?
No, I was saying I was looking at last season Paris, and I'm interested to see what Me was going to do now after that big success after last season.
So Institut Français de la Mode, they had their collection, which is why someone was saying they want me to check it. I'm looking at it. A lot of the stuff looks interesting. The school in Paris.
Oh yeah, I was gonna look at that.
It's just with the school collections, there's so many looks because obviously everyone is possessed. Like it's 216 looks. It's like I cannot sit down and take in 216 looks. Like that would take me a while, and then I have to figure out who did what. Like
you have to break it up.
Oh my!
Oh wow, this does look interesting.
Yeah. Did I do a placement yet? So right now I'm in second year. So how it works is after second year you have to do a placement year, then you go into final year. But I can skip the second year because I worked at BOF, which is good. So I don't have to spend a whole nother year like working and stuff. But the placement year is good. It's like supposed to prepare you for working in the industry, and it gives you like 9 months of experience at a really good fashion like magazine or somewhere like that. What, Vogue labels each of the designers? Okay, that's perfect. That's good.
I'm trying to think who else is exciting to get ready for. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. A lot of people are just looking forward to see what Demna does because of obviously the conflict, like how he's going to reference that. And he's already referenced, because I mean in Vêtements he referenced the Georgian War.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of similar. Did someone say it's not a single show? It's like its own fashion week. Interesting. I don't know how things work in that school.
Mm.
A whole week. How many students do they have? Looking forward to Acne Studios, Miu Miu, and Louis Vuitton by Nicholas. Yeah.
Always Nicholas after last season's mess. I still love him so much, but I'm getting a bit bored of his Louis Vuitton.
Yeah.
Now you want to talk
Milan
about
Fashion Week was good. Like
it was.
I was definitely more excited this season than I was last season, which is a good sign. Like I enjoyed a lot of what I saw.
I thought London was so good though. Like this is
what brands did you like at London?
Simone Rocha.
Yeah.
Simone Rocha was good. And the introduction with the menswear I loved.
Yeah.
Loved it so much.
Which is interesting because she had the collab with H&M, which is kind of like the first foray into menswear. And now she's fully like jumped in the deep end.
It was just enough to keep your appetite wet for more. I was excited about this collection because I'm honestly like one of those people that it gets kind of samey after a while for me real quick. But it's like reading the story that went along with that collection too, about something about the ducks that getting turned into swans. I thought that was really cool.
No, yeah. I love Simone Rocha's inspiration points all the time. Like, oh my god, what season was it? I still talk about that collection that it was inspired by like Chinese pottery that has been like reappropriated in Holland and stuff.
I remember that one.
I really like that collection. Like the way she did the prints and stuff to reference it was really cool. No, she's really good. She's really good.
Let's see. Who else in London was good? I guess just Simone was the one that stood out for me the most.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Molly Goddard? Because I'm a bit bored.
Yeah, it's a bit samey.
Yeah.
Like if I see one more tall collection from Molly Goddard, that's where I'm gonna lose it.
I'm very surprised at some of the praise that she gets recently. It's like this. It looks like the same stuff from 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, she just changes like the proportions, but it's still tall.
Mm-hmm.
And every season is still like similar platform shoes. I don't know, man. It's not great.
Mm-mm. How do you feel about Nancy?
Dojaka?
Yeah.
Oh, I think she's still like new. I still want to see because this season was kind of similar to what I've seen from her before.
That
But
one
I do
got
want
a
to
lot of
see how
praise.
she's. Yeah, I want to see what because she didn't she win the LVMH prize or something.
Yeah,
like
she
that?
won it.
Yeah, so I guess everything is still fresh, but I want to see how she develops.
Yeah, I guess I didn't lean too much into her this collection to I didn't want to critique it too much just because it's only the second.
Yeah,
But it was a little bit too samey like I don't know. I did like the idea of like those crop jackets. Those I thought that was kind of cool. Those were sexy too. But I don't know. I need to see a little bit more before I'm like say I'm a fan because I don't know.
Yeah, she's still new. Like I said, she's like fresh, so it's like
Mm-hmm.
I still want to see what she's gonna do. Talking about LVMH prize, what do you think of some of the semi-finalists?
I don't know a lot about any of the I don't know.
Yeah,
Let me
a lot of them are London based, so that might like. Do
yeah,
you know Maximilian?
heard of it, not familiar with the
Yeah,
brand though.
he's like part of Fashion East, but he's work. I think he used to work with Mo Lola and stuff. So his clothing, if you look at his aesthetic, there are similarities there in terms of like silhouette and stuff. Let me see who else is on the. Obviously, there's Tokyo James, who I'm a fan of. He showed at Milan Fashion Week. Actually, I'll put his collection on the screen. He showed at Milan. He had his debut collection, which was really good. I liked it. I'm just gonna check the semi-finalist list.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a list.
Oh, the semi-finalists. Okay, let's see. So ERL, I know. He's obviously Eli has like been big, especially since like Met Gala and stuff.
Yeah, the ASAP look.
Yeah. Goom. Okay, so Goom here is she is also part of Fashion Niche. She did her MA at CSM, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she has like really good stuff. I really like her stuff. But she's also fresh. She hasn't made that many collections. There's Knowles by Charlotte Knowles.
I like that brand. I've seen some stuff.
Yeah. There's Maximilian. I talked about Maximilian earlier. There's Palomo Spain that I know is like quite big.
Mm-hmm.
There's SS Daily, which is also like a UK, a lot of UK sort of brands.
That was another one of my favorites from London. That collection was really good.
Yeah.
Okay, SS.
Who else is on this list that I know? Obviously, Tokyo James, whose collection is on the screen right now.
Sierra is actually the one that told me about Winnie. I really didn't know much about that brand, but she started.
I don't know anything about Winnie in New York.
Very classic stuff. Very all like American classics. But tailored very well.
Yeah. So I like Tokyo's James shoe choice for the men's. You never know when the gaffer needs you to score the winner. Yeah, that came from the idea because obviously Tokyo James is like Nigerian, and in Nigeria, one of the most popular sports is like football, of course. So that was just a reference, and some of the pieces were even like upcycled, like Nike. Like there was a blazer that had upcycled, like Nike blazers. Funny enough, like a pun. sewn into the jacket, which is really nice. But I was quite excited for his collection because it was his. It wasn't the first time he showed at Milan Fashion Week, but it was his runway debut.
Mm-hmm.
Someone said the UK brain drain, real. Yeah, the UK, I don't know what they did with the LVMH prize. And it's kind of weird because you think LVMH prize is supposed to be like a global prize, but they only mainly get designers from like 3 or 4 countries, mainly.
Right.
Like US, UK, Canada, and like, yeah, it's like mainly that. Who else is in this? Yeah, I do need to have a look at like a few of the other designers. Like there's this Merrill who's from Belgium. I'm quite interested to see what they've been doing. There's also a Mesh, like Sri Lankan brand. Instead of everyone going to Milan. Yeah. I remember there was a time when London Fashion Week, there was a year I went to London Fashion Week. It was so good. It was like A. Coldwell, Paria Farzaneh, Kiko Kostadinov, Craig Green. And then everyone went to like Paris and Milan. And then the next season after that was really bad. And now it's kind of like come back again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Milan it's a bigger market because at the end of the day, like London is cool, but buyers, when they don't have much time, they're only really going to Milan and Paris.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how it goes. Fortunately, unfortunately, depending on where you're based. But yeah. Like if I was a designer in London, I'd probably go to Milan. I wouldn't go to Paris. I think in Paris there's way too much going on that if you're a small brand, no one cares. But Milan is like that middle ground where people are going to be there. And you can also like get a good slot.
Yeah, and it's always nice to have some creativity in Milan too, because it can get kind of commercial sometimes, where it's just a bunch of clothes.
Yeah,
It's not a lot of ideas in Milan, so it's good to have some younger people like Sunnei there.
yeah. He said, "Bro, be happy. Berlin Fashion Week been dead for years."
Yeah, it has.
Well, yeah. But you've got good brands coming out of Berlin. It's just that obviously they're not showing in Berlin. Talking about Berlin, I need to go there soon. Like, I've never actually been to Berlin, and I don't know why, because it's literally around the corner.
Yeah, you're lucky you get to get an easy jet right to the next country.
Literally, a cheap ass EasyJet for like £20 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, they moved your fashion week to Frankfurt. Damn.
Frankfurt Fashion Week.
Isn't Frankfurt Fashion Week where all those like electric car brands are always like showcasing their cars and stuff?
Ugh. Down market.
Literally. But yeah, a lot of my German friends who used to live in London, they moved back to Berlin after Brexit because like they were just like, yeah, we're not messing with this. So I need to go to Berlin anyway to like see them. He said, "Come over, let's connect." Yeah, for sure. I think in the summer I'm probably going to go to a lot of places. I want to go to New York as well. That's been in the works.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah. Because there's all these places I haven't been to. Like the last time I went to New York, I was a child. So all I remember was like seeing the Statue of Liberty and then nothing else.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely. I've only been in New York 2 years, and it's changed. Just in the amount of time that I've been here,
In
especially
2
because of
years.
COVID.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been there 2 years. I was in Florida before that.
Nice. I've heard New York is similar to London, which interests me.
I've only been to London once, so I can't.
Yeah.
compare.
People say it's like a big version of London, like just a bigger London. I think because it's like multicultural, and then like fashion hub, and it's very like open-minded. Like people just wear what they want. Really, you see people wearing anything on the street. I think it's those kind of things, and then the
Okay.
food. Because in London, the food is really good because you just have people from all over the world. So there's all different cuisines. And I think it's the same in New York.
Yeah, when I stayed in London, I stayed in I had an Airbnb in Brixton, so it was kind of like it was a
Ah, yeah,
melting pot of all cultures in that area. So I
yeah.
could get that comparison.
But I don't know, like, how's the public transport in New York? Do you need like a car?
No, you don't need a car here. I feel like
Okay,
in
that's cool.
London you may need a car, but
Really? No, in London it's the opposite.
they don't
I
need one.
feel like
Okay,
you no, you definitely don't need a car in London. Yeah.
okay. Well, then you probably need a car even less here. Like you don't even need one.
Yeah.
And I'm like coming from a place like where like if you in the South, like in the Southern American states, if you don't have a car, public transportation is so bad. If you don't have a car, you have no life. It's like how are you getting around? But in New York, like no, it's everything is so close. The bus, the train. A lot of people bike depending on the weather.
Yeah. The last time I was in the US, I was in the US like 2 years ago, and I went to LA, Arizona, San Francisco, all those places you needed a car. Like you had to rent a car.
Mm.
Like the public transport was so bad, especially in LA. It wasn't great.
Yeah, no, I have no desire to go to LA. None.
And LA was also, I feel like I got sold a dream. That trip, I probably should have gone to New York, but I just wanted to go around
Mm.
like America. But when I went to LA, I thought it would be like really fashion. And I walked into these stores and I was like, oh, do you have any like stores where they sell like brands that aren't too commercial, like maybe like a MM6 and or all
Mm.
those brands? And they didn't know what I was talking about. I was like,
Hell
damn.
no.
And then I was like
Mm.
walking around and I couldn't find any store. People were telling me to go to like Rodeo Drive and stuff. So I went
Mm.
there and it was just like really commercial brands with really commercial
Gucci,
things.
Fendi, Versace,
Yeah.
Dior. Yeah. Yeah.
And they only had the commercial pieces in
And then
store
yep.
too.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't great. And then at the time, I didn't know H. Lorenzo was in LA.
Mm-hmm.
If I had known, I definitely would have gone to H. Lorenzo, but I just didn't know at the time.
Yeah, you have so many options here in New York. Like it's definitely
Yeah.
the place for that. Even like vintage stores where you can find things a little bit cheaper, just secondhand shops. So yeah,
Yeah.
if you visit here soon, like me and Sierra, we'll show you around.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm definitely coming in the summer, so that should be good.
Nice.
I'll get the tour of all the places I've heard of or only seen on TV.
Right?
Someone said LA street fashion is DSM and Fairfax. And
Damn.
Rodeo Drive, I guess. But that's not really street fashion. That's just like rich people.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't even know what the streetwear scene is. It's just rich people asking paparazzi. There's
To follow them
yeah,
around.
nobody's walking around in LA, in fashion like they are in New York. That's not happening.
Yeah, I don't know. I was disappointed when I went to LA. I expected like fireworks because of the way people talk about LA. I just thought it would be like some like utopia.
I think some of the most disgusting people live there.
Yeah, it was.
It's
And it
a
was sad because there's like so many homeless people in LA too.
yeah, I hear that.
In San Francisco too, when I was there were quite a lot of homeless people.
Are your plans after school to stay in London?
No, I want to move to New York.
Oh,
Funny
nice.
enough. Yeah, because the whole point is like I feel like I've exhausted like the fashion contact and the fashion scene in London because I've been
Hmm.
here like my whole life basically. So I just want to go to like somewhere else and sort of start afresh, sort of thing. So New York would be good for that. I mean, I could go to Paris and stuff. I don't speak French, and I know like how it
Yeah,
goes.
yeah,
Like if you don't speak French in Paris, even though they speak English, they're just gonna look down on you. Like, who do
yeah,
you think you are? Coming to our country and you can't speak our language.
yeah.
Like, I know that's how it is. So, yeah,
That's fair. Yeah, it's just one of those countries. It's like
Yeah.
I'll stay away until I know it.
Until I learn French,
Until I learn French.
I'll just
That's
pop in France for the occasional fashion week, and that's it.
exactly.
Because yeah, last time I wasn't even in France. I was in Belgium, which Belgium was amazing, by the way. They're not like I don't get the same vibes as in Paris, where it's like passive aggressive. You don't speak
Mhm.
Dutch. How dare you? But when I was at the airport, this guy was asking me, "Oh, do you speak French?" And I was like, "No." He was like, "So you only speak English?" He was like in shock. I was like, "Yeah, sorry."
My bad.
I was like, "Sorry, I apologize."
Yeah. And they make you feel like that you did something wrong.
Like, tu parles anglais? Like, do you speak English?
Just give me my stamp, please.
Yeah, you always speak English. Yeah, but when I spend, it's not like if I go there for a few days, I don't get that sense. But like when I spend a long time in Paris, you do get passive aggressive vibes of like, why don't you speak French sort of thing. Or like when I do speak French, they like aggressively correct my French.
Yeah.
Because
The nice little try.
I don't know how to roll my R's when I speak French, so I always get corrected on that.
Yeah, it's a very hard language.
Yeah. You guys and your masculine and feminine. Like apparently an orange and a pizza is feminine, but then a croissant is like masculine. Interesting language. Wait, someone said streetwear in LA is tie-dye and vintage rockstar brands you don't know any song of.
Damn. I figure like LA, like their version of high fashion is like Palm Angels, and
That's true.
it's
Palm
kind of
Angels is
like
huge
that.
in LA.
It's
And
it's
what's
it's
that
like
denim
that.
brand? What's that brand that a lot of rappers wear? That makes that
Oh,
Amiri, there we go. Amiri is
yeah,
like LA fashion to the core. LA and Miami.
yeah. It's certain brands that really pop off in those areas like LA, Miami, and those scenes that they don't carry over. That's why Jil Sander could never in LA. That just won't ever happen. But yeah, they definitely love that
Yeah.
lane of brands. I wonder if there's a Philip Plein in LA. I'm sure there is.
I feel like Philip Plein, because we always laugh at it, but he has so many customers, like football
Mm,
players and like basketball
yeah,
players. They wear like Philip Plein, like seriously, they wear it. And that stuff is so expensive as well.
it's
I
so
don't know why
expensive.
anyone would buy like a jacket for 2K that
Yeah,
looks like that.
it's because they don't know any better. It's literally
Someone said a lot of Chrome Hearts.
Chrome
Yeah.
Hearts. Yes, that's a
Chrome
really
Hearts
big
is LA
item.
core.
Yeah.
What, Amiri's big in the Bronx as well? I didn't know that. When I think of
Yeah,
Amiri, I
I
think
feel
of
like
LA.
people wear like Ami and all that stuff here too. Alessandra Mckellar, they wear all that stuff here
Yeah.
in New York. It's
Ami is like affordable, which is good. And it's like really good
mhm.
quality for the price. That's what I like about the brand.
Yeah, you see those the heart stuff everywhere here.
Yeah. Trying to think what people wear in like London that's like London core. I think because so many people wear different things, but most people just wear like Burberry
That's
and
what I was
like
gonna ask. Do they really wear the
no,
Burberry
a lot of
shit?
people do wear Burberry. No, like
Okay.
people wear trenches a lot here.
Wow.
Especially because the weather is just like terrible too. It's just like
Mhm.
windy and like cold and rainy. So you need something like a good jacket that's long.
Mm.
LA is John Elliott. I
I
forgot
like
about that
John
brand.
Elliott.
I forgot about that brand.
I still buy John Elliott basics. I still buy the white T-shirt and the tank tops. I like John Elliott.
Oh yeah, Rude. Yeah, Rude is definitely big in
Oh
LA.
yeah, that root is a big one too.
I feel like what's this brand also? No, that's more of a New York brand. What's it called again? I'm gonna find it. Give me a second. Yeah, Amy Leon Dore. There we go. That's more of like a New York thing. I feel like.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, I think they have like
Yeah.
a cafe in Soho or something too.
Someone said Christopher Bailey was great at Burberry. I agree.
Yeah, underrated.
Really underrated. Basically changed Burberry from like being seen as like a hooligan brand
Yeah.
to like being luxury again.
Well, I wonder where he is now.
Christopher Bailey, I think he's on the board of Burberry.
Oh, that's good. That's
yeah.
good.
Let me cross check that, but I think that was why.
Like how do you feel about Tishy?
Ricardo?
Yeah, Tishy.
I'm in two minds. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like it. Like some collections I've liked. I'm like, oh, the way he repurposed the trench coat, that was cool. And then some collections I don't care for. But what I will say, I've looked at the financials of Burberry and they are doing really well.
Wow.
Really, really well. Like they've been growing a lot recently. And it's mainly because of like customers in China. But they seem to be doing really well. Like when you look at their financial numbers. So fair play to Ricardo. He's doing what he was there to do, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. But I feel like some of the stuff that he does is like, I'd rather you just have, your own label and just, do Ricardo Tisci stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just feels like more so than a collaboration rather than him at Burberry.
Yeah. Someone said UK as Trap Star.
Trap Star. That's the.
It's like a streetwear brand that's huge in the UK. Like all the rappers wear it. That's funny. The UK is like, if we're talking like street brands, it's like Trap Star, Cortez. What other brand is like big? Hood Rich. Hood Rich is like a big streetwear brand in the UK.
I've never heard of these.
Yeah, they're mainly like big in the UK. Like I don't think anyone in the US wears Trap Star unless they're like really, they know about like the UK scene. Maybe like a few rappers in the US would have worn Trap Star. But yeah, that's funny. I wasn't even thinking about that. Trap Star. Yeah, North Face. Definitely North Face.
Yeah, North Face is everywhere though. International that at this point.
Yeah. He said Trap Star's global. Yeah, I think maybe because things that are big in the UK tend to disperse into like other European countries. Like when I was in Belgium, a lot of the Belgian guys knew about all the UK brands. So I know like Trap Star's probably like known in Belgium. So yeah, I think most things they like cross over into like other European countries, but maybe not the US.
Yeah, I feel like
that's interesting.
America's more so if it's not a brand that the normal person can recognize, then why are you?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but it's one of those things.
Yeah, I think the UK has this more like people like to rep brands from the UK, like Trap Star and all those like Hood Rich and stuff. Like, so it's good though. It's good for people based here who are like trying to make a brand and stuff.
What about Gucci? Is that big in the UK? Do a lot of people wear that? Because I feel like the Gucci takeover is very big here in America. Like even in the South where I'm from, like it's really, really big.
Yeah.
How is it in the UK?
I think Gucci has always been a big brand, but I wouldn't say there's a takeover. I'd say I see the brand that more people are buying is more so Dior, like recently, versus Gucci. But Gucci, it's like big. They have a pop-up in Shoreditch, which was really cool. And I know a lot of people like went there. It's like really interesting, like concept thing. But no, I think London, yeah, a lot of Dior, a lot of Balenciaga, more so than Gucci. Also, a lot of Prada actually in London as well. Yeah, Gucci has always been big though. Like someone said, it's always like big, but in terms of like what people are wearing, or like, it's definitely more Balenciaga and Dior.
It's
Someone
always
said,
insane.
I work court for Gucci. Love to hear the feedback. Yeah. Yeah, Gucci's cool. They do cool stuff in London. Like they always have like interesting pop-ups. Like I said, the Shoreditch one. And I know when they showed their collection in Milan, they had like a whole event around it in London for people to go and like watch the show and like stuff. It's really cool. Someone said, "What in goodness name is the appeal of wearing Kim Jones?" I don't know. I like some of the stuff he does at Dior. It's just really commercial for the
Really
most part.
commercial.
And the criticism I had for Kim Jones was always, why does he have to collab every season? Like it got to the point where he was just relying on the collaborators almost, like every season.
I don't know. It's especially like with his brands. It's like I don't know what his design aesthetic. I don't know what Kim Jones is known.
He hasn't developed it yet because every collection is so like distinctly different.
Mm-hmm.
And then it has collaborations that even push the collection in a totally different direction. Yeah, I can't sit down and think of like Kim Jones design aesthetic. I can't think of it.
I guess now it's just make clothes for influencers. Like that's what he seems to be good at now these days. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he showed the recent Fendi show. I don't think I even talked about that. Let me see if I have that.
It was.
What do you think about that? The Fendi collection he did recently.
The couture, or
the most recent one at Milan.
The ready. Oh, I saw the couture show when it. But no, I saw it was like a bit flouncy.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Let me see if I can skip to. Okay.
I don't know. I guess he gets lucky with these brands where the brand aesthetic isn't super strong. It hasn't been, there's not enough of a foundation for it that he can kind of just do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
And he just decides to go the commercial route.
Yeah. I think execs like him though because he makes so much money.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably why like at LVMH they're just like, yeah, have Dior, have Fendi, have like, this guy does everything.
This is what Blumarine should look like.
Yeah. Kim Jones in the cover of System magazine. Yeah. I love System because once again, it's just like long form interviews. So you really get to understand like what the designers are thinking. The only thing is because it's owned by LVMH, it skews to LVMH. Like you're rarely going to read an interview of like Alessandra Mckellar in System magazine, for example. It's just mainly LVMH brands and designers. Or like designers who have been part of the LVMH prize. Yeah, some System magazine issues are impossible to get. Like the Comme des Garçons one, good luck.
It's another good reason why it's good to live here in New York because there's so many different publications that are here.
Yeah. We have in London, we have more like fanzine sort of publications.
Mm-hmm.
So like really hone into something so minute and specific, like a certain aspect of like rock or like a certain aspect of like hip hop, but we don't have loads and loads and loads of fashion publications.
Yeah, some of even like the bodegas, they'll sell like mountains of like fashion magazines. Just the most obscure fashion magazines. And you'll be surprised at the stuff they have.
Yeah. Although there's some shops in London, especially like Carnaby Street, place like that, where it's dedicated to like fashion magazines, so you can read like all sorts in there. But it's not like you can find those places like all over. Most places, like you'd see ID, Vogue, GQ. What would you see? You'd see like maybe what else did you see? It's like really commercial magazines anyway.
I'm
The other
not.
ones you have to buy online.
Somebody says System Magazine is the Nintendo Power of fashion. That's somebody that I know that's been around the block for a little bit. Because if you remember Nintendo Power, I'm right there with you.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm so over collections like this. Like it feels like a waste of time.
Yeah.
It's just clothes that like nobody can afford. They aren't even going to produce half of this stuff.
Do you know what pissed me off about Fendi? It's the fact when Sylvia was like interim creative director after like Karl Lagerfeld passed, the collections were so good.
They got better, yeah, they did.
They were so good, but then because I think she just didn't want to do it, she just wants to be accessories designer, so she's gone back to that. So she just like left the role, and then obviously Kim got the role. But I actually wanted her to stay there.
It would have
But
been
I
nice.
don't know. I don't know. I know this collection, like he said he was inspired by like old Fendi collections, like the 2000 collection, the 2000s, and then also he saw like Sylvia's daughter wearing something, and he was inspired by that and all that. But it's just when you look at the collection, nothing really moves you.
But those are his clothes in general, unless it's something that's a collab piece. That's an art collab, but.
And Jesus, so it looks like this collection has so many looks. Wait, let me check. Because that runway looks packed.
Yeah. It's a very expensive show. Even the casting is expensive. These are top girls.
Yeah. See if I can find how many looks were in this. $52 looks. Okay, that's quite standard for Fendi. Why is it giving copy and paste? Jeez.
Yeah, it is.
Someone said Kim Jones is the MCU of fashion. Jesus.
I don't know. Fendi has always kind of been like that, though. It's always been just it's never been like the wow moment on the calendar ever.
Yeah, but I do think there were some collections where Karl Lagerfeld did sort of shock people, and it was quite interesting. But also when Karl Lagerfeld was at Fendi, I think for a long time people were a bit confused as to like who was actually designing the collections, because it wasn't like Karl was really openly suggesting that he was designing. It wasn't until like a lot later. It's like in the early years, a lot of people were confused about it. People just thought he was just at Chanel.
That type of designer does not exist anymore.
Yeah.
I still was amazed when I got into fashion, I learned that he was doing Chanel, Fendi, and Karl Lagerfeld. Like that's a lot of fucking shows a year. Excuse me. That's a lot of shows a year.
But I think the first thing he gave up was his own brand.
Yeah, Karl
and then he
Lagerfeld
just
left
stuck
first.
with Fendi, and I don't even know what that brand is. I just don't even know what it is. Fendi and Hermes are similar to me as far as having a wow factor for ready to wear. Although I think Hermes understands its customer a bit better because Hermes is just like this luxe chic sort of aesthetic every season. Whereas what Kim Jones is doing is kind of like trying to find different inspiration points and reference different things. So it's not a cemented customer yet. Like a Frozen brand is basically like Michael Kors.
It is.
Yeah. It's like Michael Kors, it just doesn't sell as well. But yeah, you can find it at all the outlets.
Mm-hmm.
Nemchenko. When did Nemchenko show? I love that brand, but I didn't even see if they showed. Yeah, I love Nemchenko. Nemchenko is cool. They even have their factory is in Belgium, I think. In kind of similar. I think their atelier might be beside Raf's, or it might even be the same one, like the factory that they use. Oh, they didn't show. Okay, yeah, because I was like, I didn't see it. Fendi. But yeah, I liked Milan. Definitely much better.
Yeah, it was solid.
Wait, Lagerfeld is more respected for the fragrance. Really? I wouldn't say Lagerfeld is more respected for his fragrance offerings. That's a bit of no way.
No.
No way.
Even
like,
if they produce
Lagerfeld,
those, even if they produce those perfumes and stuff, still they're like marked down to $20 at, you know, they're very it's Karl Lagerfeld is very, very cheap, like over here. Like I haven't seen anything over $50 from Karl Lagerfeld's brand.
Yeah. No, even Karl Lagerfeld is like an accomplice. Is like he used to win like prizes and stuff, like design prizes. And then there was that whole controversial thing with Yves Saint Laurent where I think he came second in like one of the categories. And then since then they've kind of had some sort of rivalry.
Yeah, I'm halfway through The Beautiful Fall, so I'm like,
oh, that's a really good book.
Yeah, it's a good one. I'm like at the part, like it's in the 70s right now.
Yeah. Oh, someone said Lagerfeld the brand. Okay, yeah. I see what you mean now. Okay. Yeah, The Beautiful Fall it really talks about that whole Yves Saint Laurent Karl Lagerfeld thing in depth. Yeah, what do you think about the book so far? Like,
oh, I like it. It's kind of like it reads like a tabloid a little bit. Like it's just a bunch of mess and juice, very juicy.
Yeah.
I guess if you're interested in those people, then you find some of that stuff juicy.
Yeah.
But I also find that when sometimes I don't know a lot of the names, so I always have to cross reference like who is this person that they're talking about before I dive into just to get a glimpse of like okay this is this person and this is why they were friends or whatever.
Yeah. I just find it funny how shady like fashion. It just shows you how shady fashion is. Like Karl literally tried to sabotage like Yves Saint Laurent's career.
I also thought that it was interesting just the troop of people Karl Lagerfeld had hanging on him, that whole time. It's like, and he always kind of had that thing like throughout his whole career, just like this like gang of people with him.
Yeah.
He never gave that up. And
he had like an entourage, like even Andre Leon Talley was kind of like part of his entourage.
Yeah, I'm audiobooking Andre's book right now, so that's been very good to hear his voice and his life and his voice.
Yeah,
I'm actually at the part right now where he's like, Karl is giving him clothes, and so yeah, so it's a good read. Or a good listen.
Yeah, I can't listen to books. I don't know why. I feel like I get distracted.
I feel like I could only do audiobooks if it's read by the person who it's about, and it's a
Yeah.
it's a biography. That it just makes makes sense to kind of like it's this person's life in their own words.
Yeah.